38%. Chapter 121 Ben Young Master comes again. Why? Wang Yan sighed deeply again. Quote exclamation mark. To the sect leader, there are people at the gate of the mountain asking to see you. A voice suddenly sounded outside the great hall, and all the elders looked at each other. They all knew who it was. Li Yan. Ever since this dude fell in love with Wang Yan, he came to Fengyan sect every 3 days, so they were not surprised. At this moment, the disciple outside the door said again, that person seems to be called Chen Shang. He said that he was an old acquaintance with the elder, and he came here to meet the elder. Hearing these words, everyone in the great hall suddenly stood up, their eyes full of shock. The sect leader of Fengyan sect is named Yangming, and he asked solemnly, are you sure that's what he said? The disciple outside the great hall responded, disciple is sure. Yangming immediately looked at Wang Yan. Big elder, if you don't want to follow Li Yan, this may be your only chance. He also had some friendship with Wang Yan, including Wang Yan who was one of the founders of Fengyan sect, so he naturally didn't want her to marry that dude like Li Yan. Compared to Li Yan, Chen Shang is 10,000 times stronger. Wang Yan naturally knew what Yangming meant, but she didn't answer directly. Although she was not young, as a woman, she would inevitably be a little shy about such things. Besides, it's not her who has the final say on such matters, but Chen Zhang's. Wang Yan took a deep breath, and then turned into an afterimage on the spot. In front of the mountain gate, an imposing young man stood with his hands behind his back, feeling a bit domineering. When Wang Yan saw this man, there was a flash of infatuation in her eyes. This is the man she should serve. She quickly calmed down and walked forward with a smile on her face. Chen Shang little brother. As for why she was called little brother, it was because the first time Chen Shang met her, she was called her elder sister, so Wang Yan thought it was very funny, and kept calling him little brother from then on. Chen Shang turned around with a smile on his face. Wang Yan stepped forward and jokingly said, did you encounter any troubles when you came to find my sister? Chen Shang nodded. Sister Wang Yan, there are indeed some troubles, and I came to you to solve them. Hearing this sentence, Wang Yan's eyes darkened. She really just came to tell her what was on her mind. But she still had a gentle smile on her face. Let's go to Baihua Peak and chat while walking. Baihua Peak is the mountain where Wang Yan lives, and it is also a big elder. Of course it has its own territory. Chen Shang nodded, and the two walked side by side like this. Wang Yan asked with a smile on her face, tell me, but what's bothering you? Looking at her smile, Chen Shang was fascinated. In fact, Wang Yan's beauty is not top-notch. Even in Xuantian City, she can find many people who are prettier than her, but Chen Shang doesn't know why, but thinks that Wang Yan's beauty is better than all women. Chen Shang withdrew his mind, shook his head and laughed, and said, the patriarch issued an order a few days ago that all members of the clan must have an heir within 2 years, but I don't even have a companion. Wang Yan was taken aback for a moment. She didn't expect Chen Zhang's troubles to be this. Then do you have a sweetheart? Facing Wang Yan's question, Chen Shang nodded, yes. Oh, Wang Yan's eyes darkened again, and at the same time, she felt extremely sad. After several hundred years of precipitation, she experienced many things. Her heart has long been extremely mature, but at this moment, she actually has a feeling that she wants to cry. Fortunately, she suppressed this sadness. Wang Yan took a deep breath and asked with a forced smile, the person little brother likes must be beautiful, but since you have a sweetheart, isn't it easy to fulfill your patriarch's order? Her meaning is very simple. As a direct descendant of the Chen family, are you afraid that you won't get the woman you like? An intoxicated smile suddenly appeared on Chen Zhang's face, and he said, beautiful, very beautiful, she is so beautiful, she is the most beautiful woman in the world I have ever seen. As for Jane is not simple, it is not up to me. Wang Yan's body trembled slightly, and an unspeakable emotion rose in her heart. When Chen Shang talked about this, he must not be talking about himself. Wang Yan is very conscious of herself. In fact, Wang Yan has always had a good impression of Chen Shang. He is focused, serious, and very responsible. Even if it is a small matter, he will do it very well. The key is that the other party has a strong background, and he is also strong. How can any woman resist such a man? It's just that she is a woman, so she is reserved, and Chen Shang calls her sister when she comes, so she doesn't know what to do, so she never expresses anything. Wang Yan restrained the emotions in her heart, and said in a calm voice, she is really happy. Chen Shang continued, but she doesn't know what I mean, we are not together yet. Ah, Wang Yan was taken aback again, and she asked curiously, who is this person? She really wanted to know who had fascinated him so much. Chen Shang closed his eyes, took a deep breath, and then opened his eyes again and said, this person's name is Wang Yan. We met 3 years ago, but we have never confided in her, so I am not sure whether he is willing to talk to her. I'm with you. Wang Yan nodded, but the expression on her face froze immediately, and she looked at Chen Shang in shock. What did you say? Chen Shang turned his head to look at her, and said with a faint smile, you heard me clearly, and I don't need to repeat it. Wang Yan's face turned red immediately. She couldn't believe that Chen Shang actually liked Own, wasn't the previous praise talking about herself. The indescribable beauty is also talking about yourself. Wang Yan's heart was trembling constantly. Tears were rolling in her eyes. She didn't know why, but she just wanted to cry. Obviously it was something to be happy about. Wang Yan's parents passed away since she was a child. She worked hard in this dangerous world alone, encountered countless crises, and even passed death several times. She was originally an insecure woman, but from Chen Shang, he felt a strong sense of security. This comes from Chen Zhang's character. Wang Yan knew that this person would never harm her, but she believed him. She has a crush on Chen Shang, but there is a big gap between the two regardless of their age or status. Wang Yan feels inferior and feels that the other party looks down on her. Hearing that Chen Shang fell in love with other women, she felt even more uncomfortable. But hearing that Chen Shang was talking about her, Wang Yan's emotions became extremely complicated. Came back to God again. Wang Yan's face was covered with tears. Looking at her appearance, Chen Shang also knew the answer in her heart, so he stepped forward and hugged her gently in his arms. From today on, no one can bully you, because you are my Chen Zhang's woman. Chen Zhang's soft voice lingered in his ears, and Wang Yan's tears suddenly burst like a bank, and she couldn't hold it back anymore. After a while, Wang Yan's crying stopped, but her heartbeat became much faster, and she lay in Chen Zhang's arms, not daring to move. It was the first time in Wang Yan's life that she embraced so tightly with a man. Suddenly, a loud voice interrupted their ambiguity. Wang Yan, this young master is here again. 38%. Chapter 122. Li Yan, courting death. Chen Shang was taken aback by the sound from under the mountain gate, and looked at Wang Yan with some doubts. The voice just now was obviously coming directly at Wang Yan. When Wang Yan heard this voice, disgust immediately appeared on her face. She lay in Chen Zhang's arms, and her arms around him couldn't help but tightened, as if only in this way could she feel safe in her heart. After taking a deep breath, Wang Yan explained the whole story. This person's name is Li Yan. The person I met when I went out a while ago is the young master of the Li family in Xuantian City. This Li family is considered a strong force in Xuantian City. There are indistinguishable Dao strongmen, and I have heard more and more about it. 1. After Li Yan took a fancy to me, he planned to accept me as a maid, so he often came to Fengyan sect during this time. Of course, I don't want to, but the Li family is powerful, so they have been putting pressure on me during this time. When Wang Yan said this, her voice was a little aggrieved and weak. When the two first met, she was indeed like a big sister, and she was more like leading Chen Shang. But with the subsequent development, Wang Yan became more like a weak woman and needed Chen Shang to lead her. Chen Shang frowned suddenly, and a cold light burst out in his eyes. The current Wang Yan is an own woman, but other men dare to make up her mind. Let's go, Li Yan. I want to see who dares to snatch my Chen Zhang's woman. Chen Zhang's tone contained murderous intent, but Wang Yan felt extremely sweet in her heart. For Chen Shang, she has an inexplicable sense of belonging, as if she has been wandering for half her life and finally found a place to stay. In front of the mountain gate of Fengyan sect, Yang Ming received Li Yan here a long time ago, and there were two elders beside him, all three of them had accompanying smiles on their faces. Li Young Master, Wang Yan the elder is indeed still in closed-door training. It is inconvenient to see guests today, please come back another day. Yang Ming said so. His face was full of flattery. It can be said that he put his posture extremely low. In front of him, a luxuriously dressed and suave man stood there, and beside him stood a slender woman with exquisite appearance. Li Yan snorted coldly, his expression full of displeasure. It's only been a few days, is there a need for closed-door training for her divine transformation period? Just let her come out, this young master wants to see her. Yang Ming's face was full of trouble, and now Wang Yan is with Chen Shang. He originally intended to take advantage of Chen Zhang's influence to frighten the Li family, but Yang Ming didn't have the guts to worry that Chen Shang would be unhappy if he found out. If you offend the Li family, there is still a way to survive, but if you offend Chen Shang, you can order the coffin immediately and there is no chance of survival at all. The dozens of transcend tribulation periods some time ago are still vivid in my mind. Who can afford it? Li Yan's expression turned cold. Sect leader Yang, let Wang Yan be my maid. How can I treat her badly? If this young master is not knowledgeable and reasonable, how would I give you time to think about it? I advise you not to toast or eat fine wine. Believe it or not, I will dismantle Fengyan sect for you. Yang Ming's heart trembled suddenly. He knew that Li Yan could definitely do such a thing. Li Yan's reputation is not good in the circle around Xuantian City. This kind of thing has happened before. If today's matter can't be resolved properly, something may happen. Yang Ming's face was a little ugly. The key was that the elder Wang Yan had a good friendship with him, although it can't be said that they were born and died, but at least they worked hard together for a long time. If he was asked to sell Wang Yan directly, he would not be able to do such a thing. As Li Yan's voice fell, the old man beside him took a step forward, revealing an extremely domineering aura instantly. The void return period. Yang Ming was extremely terrified. Every time Li Yan came here, although his attitude was not very good, he was not so tough, but this time he had an intuition that if Wang Yan could not be handed over, Feng Yunzong might be in danger. Li Yan, you are presumptuous. Suddenly there was a cold scolding sound from afar. Wang Yan walked slowly. Her face was full of disgust. The expression on Li Yan's face changed suddenly. He showed a kind smile. Miss Wang Yan, I have been waiting for you for a long time. I will be sad if you don't come again. Suddenly, Li Yan's face changed. He found that there was actually a man beside Wang Yan, and he behaved intimately. Obviously the relationship was irreversible. Seeing this scene, Li Yan's face was extremely gloomy, and there was killing intent in his eyes. He didn't expect that someone would dare to snatch the woman he fell in love with. Chen Shang said slowly, "You are called Li Yan." As his voice sounded, the old man next to Li Yan immediately stopped in front of him, his eyes full of solemnity. The old man sensed an unusual aura from Chen Zhang's body, and he was also a strong man in the void return stage. Li Yan frowned, glanced at the old man in front of him, opened his mouth and stopped talking, but frowned in thought for a moment before saying, "Brother, Li Yan from the Li family, this Wang Yan is the woman I like. I advise you not to interfere. The only ones who can be treated like this by Mr. Shu are those in the void return stage." So Li Yan had a very tough attitude even before he came up. After all, in Xuantian City, it is easy to meet strong people now, so there is no need to provoke enemies everywhere. Li Yan is a person who specializes in pinching soft persimmons, and he will definitely avoid those hard stubbles. Intervene. Snort. Chen Shang snorted coldly. His figure disappeared instantly, and an extremely powerful aura was revealed instantly. His whole body was like a raging tiger, with an extremely strong sense of oppression. The void around him began to collapse inch by inch. The next moment, Chen Zhang's figure appeared in front of Li Yan, and he raised his hand to grab Li Yan. Daddy's woman dares to snatch her, she really wants to die. Chen Shang is not very old, and he still has a whole body of passion. Seeing his own woman being coveted, he has already had a murderous intention in his heart. Old Shu stared at him, feeling the breath in Chen Zhang's body. He knew he was no match, so he quickly said, "Fellow Taoist, my young master is young and ignorant, please spare his life. Wang Yan, we won't have any thoughts." Roll. With a backhand, Chen Shang slapped the old man hundreds of meters away, and then grabbed Li Yan's neck. So strong. Mr. Shu fell to the ground, his eyes full of horror. You must know that you are in the middle stage of void return, but you can't even stop such a casual slap. Could it be returned to origin? The point is that this physical body is too powerful, it is not in the same order of magnitude as him. Moreover, he instinctively felt that Chen Shang had a great background, and that the Li family still had a certain reputation in Xuantian City, which was generally known to anyone with a little knowledge. But the person in front of him didn't care at all. Obviously he didn't take the Li family seriously. Li Yan kept struggling in Chen Zhang's hands. He roared, "I am the young master of the Li family. Behind me is an indistinguishable Dao strongman. If you dare to kill me, the Li family will never let you go." He had never experienced such humiliation since he was a child, so compared to death, Li Yan was more angry, and he felt that Chen Shang would not dare to kill himself. Chen Zhang's face was full of sarcasm. "Really? After finishing speaking, his hand slightly exerted force. 38%. Chapter 123. The Li family was scared. This. Elder Shu looked at the corpse lying on the ground. His eyes were full of horror. Li Yan is dead. As a guard, can I also escape the sanction of the Li family? Although Li Yan's talent is mediocre, he is loved and favored by the mistress in the Li family, so he was sent to protect him during the void return period. If he returns to the Li family now, he will definitely face the wrath of the mistress. The eyes of everyone in Fengyan sect were full of joy. Li Yan and the others didn't know Chen Shang, but they were too familiar. After all, Wang Yan and him had been in contact many times, and they had met each other. This is the direct line of the Chen family, not to mention one Li family. Even if there are 10 or 100 Li families, it is not enough for others to kill. Chen Shang looked at Elder Shu in the distance, and said in a cold voice, "Tell the Li family behind you, the person who killed Li Yan is named Chen Shang, the head of the Xuantian faction. If you want revenge, just come to me." Hearing these words, Mr. Shu froze in place, trembling uncontrollably, his eyes filled with fear. Chen Shang. The head of the Xuantian faction. Elder Shu murmured, and couldn't help swallowing. What kind of person did Li Yan provoke? This is the direct line of the Chen family. Now in the entire wasteland, the Chen family is the least to be provoked. Even if it is a servant, you have to be respectful, let alone their direct descendants. For Chen Shang, one sentence can wipe out the entire Li family. Elder Shu only felt his scalp tingling. He quickly knelt on the ground, and said respectfully, "Master Chen, please forgive me. Li Yan's matter was not the Li family's wish, and it has absolutely nothing to do with the Li family. His life was given by the head of the Li family, so Mr. Shu is also loyal to the Li family. At this point, he is also thinking about the Li family. I was afraid that Chen Shang would anger the Li family because of Li Yan." Chen Shang said coldly, "Get out." Hearing this, Mr. Shu immediately scrambled and left. He didn't dare to stay here for a moment, for fear that Chen Shang would kill him too. Seeing the incomparably mighty Chen Shang, Wang Yan's heart fluttered in the distance. This is my man. At this moment, Wang Yan felt that she was the happiest woman in the world. Chen Shang turned his head and said, "Yun'er, let's go. Go back to Chen's house. I will take you to meet the patriarch. We can get married after a while." This gentle voice from Yun'er seemed to call into Wang Yan's heart, making his delicate body tremble slightly. Especially when she heard that Chen Shang wanted to take her back to the Chen family, Wang Yan felt extremely satisfied. Wang Yan nodded obediently. Okay. Seeing this scene, Yang Ming was extremely happy in his heart. Big Elder is really together with Chen Shang. This is simply a great thing, with the relationship of the Chen family, who will dare to touch their Fengyan sect in the future. In the Li family, Mr. Shu ran back in a hurry, his eyes full of panic. "Patriarch, something is wrong." At this moment, Li Meng was still discussing matters in the conference hall. When he heard the exclamation outside, he frowned immediately, and his eyes flashed with displeasure. "Didn't you see yourself talking about something? At this time, what kind of decency is it to yell?" But the middle-aged woman next to Li Meng seemed to think of something. She stood up abruptly, with a look of worry flashing across her face. Xu Zhen was the person she arranged next to Li Yan, but now he ran back in such a hurry, it was easy for her to think of some bad things. Xu Zhen ran into the meeting hall and said hastily, "Patriarch, Li Yan young master, is dead." Hearing these words, the entire hall suddenly fell into dead silence. Li Meng's expression froze for a moment, but soon relaxed again. Li Yan, that prodigal son, caused trouble every day, and sooner or later something would happen. He had already expected this. But the face of the middle-aged woman beside him changed drastically, and he angrily said, "Who killed it, and why did you come back alive?" Her attitude was very obvious. Since Li Yan was dead, he shouldn't come back and should protect Li Yan with all his might. Li Meng frowned when he heard this. "Zhou Shang, you're a bit too much." He was a little dissatisfied with sending a void return stage to guard that trash, but seeing Zhou Shang defending that trash son like this, he couldn't help it anymore. If Li Yan behaved properly, even if the talent was close, he would find a way to improve him so that he could go further in the future. After all, he was his own son. But Li Yan didn't pay attention to cultivation at all, and behaved mischievously all day long, which made him extremely disappointed. Zhou Shang immediately yelled at him, "Li Meng, he is your son, you don't care about your own son, and you still talk about me. Xu Zhen was originally sent by me to protect Yun'er. Now that Yun'er is dead, he is only slightly injured. Don't you think he colluded with outsiders to frame my Yunur? Presumptuous. Li Meng was instantly furious, and a sense of oppression emanated from his body instantly. Zhou Shang shuddered all over, and was stunned by the loud shouting. Li Meng had always been kind to her, and this was the first time she had gotten angry with herself since she married into the Li family. Li Meng's eyes were full of coldness. That brat Li Yan can come to this day, who is used to it. He is an idiot. Are you also stupid? Do you know where this is? In Xuantian City, you cause trouble every day, and you are afraid that you will live too long. If you mess with the Chen family one day, it depends on how you end up. At that time, the entire Li family will be buried with you. Hearing the Chen family, Xu Zhen was shocked all over, and he stammered. Patriarch, the young master provoked, is the Chen family. The voice of this sentence was not loud, but it poured into everyone's ears very clearly, as if it had been shocked by the stone. Everyone immediately looked at Xu Zhen, their eyes full of horror. What the hell? Do you want to hear what you're saying? Li Meng's expression changed drastically. What did you say? Xu Zhen still had lingering fears and said, Li Yan young master fell in love with a woman some time ago. She is the elder of Fengyan sect, but the relationship between this person and Chen Shang, the descendant of the Chen family, is somewhat unusual. Young master went to Fengyan sect many times, wanting to accept her as a maid. As a result, I ran into Chen Shang on the spot this time, and young master was also killed by him. Li Meng stared, and the whole person slid off the chair directly, feeling a little lost. Chen Shang, Xuantian school head teacher. This beast. Li Meng now regrets that he didn't slap Li Yan to death earlier. As soon as he mentioned the Chen family, he provoked the Chen family. This is the direct descendant of the Chen family, and to them, the Li family is a big shot who is out of reach, and no one can be provoked by the Li family. Isn't this going to drag the entire Li family into the water? Zhou Shang was also a little stunned, and her face was full of fear. Yunur, how could you offend the Chen family? A mother knows her own children best. Although Li Yan usually behaves mischievously, he is not stupid. He would never provoke a behemoth like the Li family. Why is this so? She is also a little panicked now, and even a little regretful. Li Meng was actually very kind to her, and she also regarded herself as the Li family, so naturally she didn't want anything to happen to the Li family. If Li Yan provoked the Chen family and caused the entire Li family to be implicated, she would not be able to accept it in her heart. Li Yan's death made her back hurt, but she also didn't want anything to happen to the Li family. Li Meng stood up, glared at Zhou Shang fiercely, and left in a hurry. Hurry up and go to Fengyan sect. Of course, he didn't want to take revenge, but wanted to make it clear to Chen Shang face to face, to express his apology, even if it was a humble beg. 39%. Chapter 124. Choosing a wife. Chen family. Qingxinyuan. Chen Daojun has been making babies with Lin Wanqing for the past few days, but unfortunately they have not been able to achieve their wish, but all of this is expected. Chen Daojun is also a true immortal cultivation base, and it is extremely difficult to have children, unless he works with several women at the same time, so the probability will be greater. Moreover, Lin Wanqing's cultivation base is too weak. Even if she conceives an offspring, it will affect the quality of the offspring. But Chen Daojun didn't mainly want to have children with him, at least for now. He mainly wanted to retaliate against Lin Wanqing's provocation some time ago. The effect was also very significant. After returning to Jushao Divine Dynasty, Lin Wanqing never got out of bed, spending all time under Chen Daojun's criticism. Chen Daojun began to miss Lu Ling again. The divine beast bloodline, coupled with the fact that it is also the Earth Immortal's cultivation base, is completely sufficient for the birth of offspring. He is growing rapidly every day now, and it may not be long before he will break through to Tai mysterious immortal realm, and it will be even more difficult to give birth to heirs at that time. Thinking of this, Chen Daojun began to feel a little worried. I just don't know if Lu Ling is willing or not. It doesn't matter to him, a gentleman, and Lu Ling is so beautiful, which man can refuse? Greetings to Patriarch, Chen Shang asks to see you. At this moment, a shout interrupted Chen Daojun's thoughts. Outside Qingxinyuan, Chen Shang stood there respectfully, his expression full of awe. Wang Yan, on the other hand, was a little anxious, holding her hands tightly with Chen Shang, as if she was seeing her parents. You must know that the person inside is the head of the Chen family, the heaven-defying big shot behind Jushao Divine Dynasty. Thinking of meeting such a big person, Wang Yan's heart beat faster, as if her heart was about to jump out, and she was extremely nervous. Chen Shang patted her hand as a comfort. Come in. A faint voice sounded from inside. Chen Shang immediately pulled Wang Yan in. In Qingxin courtyard, a handsome man with an extraordinary appearance sat on a stone stool. The head of the Chen family. Wang Yan's heart skipped a beat, and she almost knelt down. Such a character made her feel a little scared instinctively. It was like a little white rabbit meeting a fierce tiger. Even though she knew that the tiger would not eat her, she was still terrified. Chen Shang seemed much calmer. He pulled Wang Yan and walked over, and then knelt down. Chen Shang, meet the patriarch. Wang Yan also quickly knelt down, and said in a trembling voice, Wang Yan, I greet. Patriarch. She didn't know how to address Chen Daojun. Even though she belonged to Chen Shang, she hadn't been married yet. At this moment, Chen Shang continued. Patriarch, her name is Wang Yan. I am going to marry her, please allow me. Chen Daojun looked at Wang Yan. Feeling that gaze, Wang Yan trembled all over, goosebumps almost rose. This Chen Shang is really good. He listened to my words, and his efficiency is really fast enough. The front foot gave orders, and the back foot brought all the daughters-in-law home. Chen Daojun smiled. Wang Yan. Wang Yan quickly pressed her head deeply to the ground. Wang Yan is here. Chen Daojun couldn't help laughing when he saw this. Don't be nervous, since you have entered my Chen family, you will be a family from now on. Chen Shang was overjoyed when he heard the words. Patriarch, so you agree? Chen Daojun looked at him. Why don't you agree? As long as you complete the task of the patriarch as soon as possible. He didn't pay much attention to which woman Chen Shang found, as long as she was a normal person with a good heart. As for what kind of family is right, it doesn't matter. As long as Chen Shang likes it, he doesn't care about the rest. Chen Shang hurriedly said to Wang Yan. The patriarch agreed, please thank the patriarch quickly. There was unconcealable excitement in Chen Zhang's tone. As long as the patriarch had no problems, marrying Wang Yan by himself was a certainty. Chen Shang is very excited when he thinks that he can marry the woman he loves as his wife. Wang Yan also hurriedly said, thank you patriarch. Chen Daojun smiled slightly, raised his hand and waved a pure and flawless white light. The energy contained in it was extremely pure and mysterious. This ray of light directly entered Wang Yan's body. At the next moment, Wang Yan was directly covered by white light, in which the original divine transformation breath actually broke through to divine transformation returned to origin within a few breaths. Soon, the light was completely absorbed by Wang Yan, and her expression was full of joy. This is. Wang Yan only felt that the body was extremely smooth, as if the 8 extraordinary meridians had been opened up. Even if it absorbed the spiritual qi between heaven and earth, the efficiency was 6 or 7 times higher than before. Chen Daojun said with a smile. God's spiritual roots, let's treat it as a gift from the head of the family. Day spiritual roots. Wang Yan's heart was shocked. This level of spiritual roots, no matter in any force, is considered a rare genius. The most important thing is that this patriarch actually has the ability to directly create spiritual roots. This is too scary. She has never heard of this ability. Spiritual roots are usually born from innate, and there is no way to improve them the day after tomorrow. At most, she will take some heavenly and mortal treasures to improve. But it is almost impossible to make a complete change. Chen Daojun took out another interspatial ring and sent it over. This is also a meeting gift. Wang Yan hurriedly took it, and when divine sense probed in, she froze in place. Cultivation technique. Weapons, heavenly and mortal treasures, the list goes on. And these things all start from the ground level. The scene in front of her made her completely stunned. She found that the outside world's judgment on the Chen family was almost completely wrong. The Chen family is far more terrifying than they imagined. It can be seen from this financial resources that the Chen family is really rich to the extreme. Wang Yan hurriedly bowed her head and saluted. Thank you patriarch. Chen Daojun nodded lightly, then waved his hands. Go down. Seeing this, the two immediately stood up, turned and left Qingxinyuan. When Wang Yan walked out, she also breathed a long sigh of relief. She thought that Chen Daojun had a dignified appearance, but it surprised her that he was so easy to get along with. Inside the Chen family, except for people like Chen Shang who already have suitable candidates, the others have no goals, so they can only look for them now. Have you heard? The Chen family released news today, saying that they will choose a wife for the direct line of the family. The Chen family. Is it true? It's posted at the gate of the inner city. If you don't believe me, go and have a look, and there is no limit to the number. Anyone who meets the requirements can enter the Chen family. What happened to the Chen family? It has been quite quiet before. Why do they suddenly start choosing wives for the direct line? 39%. Chapter 125 Stimulation. As soon as the news of the Chen family's selection of a wife was released, it instantly caused a sensation in the whole wasteland. It was the entire celestial star realm. Even in the Northern Territory and Central Province, many forces have brought women from their clans into the Nine Heavens Divine Dynasty, ready to sign up. The current Jushao Divine Dynasty is the veritable number one force in the celestial star realm. And is the behind-the-scenes family behind them, who wouldn't want to get in. The Chen family was rumored, but behind it was the influence of a great figure of the immortal rank. The princesses and ladies of many ancient clans of the Divine Dynasty in Zhongzhou all gathered in Xuantian City. The reason why the Chen family released the news was also Chen Daozhun's idea, so that they could better select high-quality bloodlines and make the Chen family's bloodline grow stronger. So Chen Daozhun felt that if each of them married 2 more daughters-in-law, it would be better for them to have children. Even Chen Shang has to take concubines. In this world, it is very normal for a man to have 3 wives and 4 concubines. As long as you are strong enough, 3,000 beauties in the harem will not be a problem. Moreover, they are immortal cultivators, everyone has an iron kidney, so marrying more wives will not make much difference, so as not to be hollowed out. Regarding Chen Zhang's taking a concubine, Wang Yan did not have any objection, anyway, she was the boss. Xuantian City. Jushao Square. This is a square in the outer city of Xuantian City, which can almost accommodate hundreds of thousands of people at the same time. Now the square is almost full of yin-yang and yang-yang, each of them is extremely beautiful, and no one looks ordinary. Those who have thoughts about the Chen family are almost always pretty, otherwise they would not have the courage. Nearly 200,000 people, many of whom are top talents. Chen Yun stood at the top of the square and swept down. He looked at the information record book in his hand, which contained the information of every woman. Many of them are thousands of years old. Chen Yun looked a little embarrassed. He could be my grandma at this age. Fortunately, a cultivator doesn't particularly care about age, so he doesn't pay much attention to it. According to what the patriarch said, as long as he meets the conditions, he can join the Chen family. No Mahayana period. Chen Yun's expression froze suddenly, and he looked at a person. Zhongzhou, the eldest princess of Yulin Divine Dynasty, Miaojun. This. Chen Yun couldn't stand it anymore. Who in the Chen family can control the powerhouse of the Mahayana period? Unless the owner comes in person. He looked down, and saw a woman with a graceful figure and wearing purple clothes who was quietly pressed in the crowd. Just looking at it made him a little overwhelmed. The eldest princess of Yulin Divine Dynasty, the 7th among the top 10 beauties in Zhongzhou. As the elder of the Chen family, he naturally knew about Zhongzhou, and he had heard of Miaojun's name. It's just that Chen Yun didn't expect that Miaojun was also interested in the Chen family. And it's not just Miaojun, 7 of the top 10 beauties in Zhongzhou came. I'll be good. Chen Yun's mood was a little hard to calm down. It was really exciting to have so many women for the Chen family to choose from. He kind of wants to pick a few. No, I just want to pick a few. Chen Yun only had one wife, and he had been practicing seriously before and was in charge of family affairs, so he didn't think about these things. Take a deep breath. Chen Yun was not polite at all, he had a serious expression. The current Chen family is not that small family back then, but a real top power. Whether they are the top 10 beauties in Zhongzhou, or they are from some big families, for them, as long as they can enter the Chen family, it is a heaven-defying opportunity. The area around Jushao Square is now full of people, all of whom came to watch the play. The Chen family's battle to marry their wives is too great. There are so many beauties, so I envy the Chen family. I saw several top beauties from Zhongzhou just now. These people have countless suitors, but I never imagined that they would put down their dignity and come to the Chen family today. Please let me enter the Chen family in my next life. Not only men, but even women are envied by many. Unfortunately, their aptitude and appearance are also average, so they simply don't have the courage to participate. Chen Yun's voice was not loud, but it reverberated on both sides of the square like a spring thunder. This seat is not talking nonsense, and there will be 2 assessments, one for the strength of the heart and bloodline. If you can't pass these 2 levels, you can only leave. Hearing this sentence, many women in the square looked serious. It seems that it is not that simple to enter the Chen family. For the women who come here, entering the Chen family means reaching the sky in one step. Even those women of top power can consolidate the family and the divine dynasty behind them. Besides, the Chen family is so powerful, who wouldn't want to enter? After Chen Yun finished speaking, he took out a sky curtain. In an instant, the sky covered all the women in the square, and they immediately closed their eyes and fell into a deep sleep. This is the illusion, and it is also a place to test their hearts. In the environment, they will experience various things to test their way of handling things. If you can persist in something longer, it proves that your character is better. Time passed slowly. Chen Yun's face was ugly. FK. He glanced around, and there were nearly 200,000 people, only 1/10 of them failed. According to what the patriarch said, as long as you persevere for 30 breaths, you have a good heart and are eligible to enter the Chen family. What's going on? There are so many left. Who can stand it? Chen Yun thought for a moment, and then extended the time again. There are still so many people left, and they can't all be selected, so the time can only be extended to 60 breaths. Choose from the best. Chen Yun couldn't help but sigh. These women are not bad. Fortunately, after 40 breaths, more and more women failed, and only about 9,000 of the 200,000 people succeeded. These people are all very good-natured people. Chen Yun took a deep breath. Although the number of 9,000 people was very small compared to before, it was still very much for the Chen family. As far as the Chen family is concerned, they can't digest it at all. As for the collateral lineage, Chen Yun didn't think about it. The patriarch's order was to allow the direct lineage to give birth to offspring, and the collateral lineage didn't matter. With a wave of Chen Yun's hand, countless interspatial rings were thrown out of his hand and thrown towards most of the women in the square. Here are some small gifts. If you come to my Xuantian city from a long distance, it will be regarded as a little subsidy. Those who get the things can leave or stay in Xuantian city. All food and drink consumption will be paid by the dynasty. Hearing this sentence, many women immediately showed disappointment and sighed. Failed. Hey, the Chen family's requirements are too high. I just saw that one of the top 10 beauties in Zhongzhou has been brushed off. It's normal to be more demanding. This is the Chen family. Once you enter it, it's like jumping into a dragon's gate. Who will dare to provoke you in this celestial star realm? I heard that there are not many people in the Chen family. There are still so many people in the field. Will the Chen family have hundreds of wives? And all of them are so stunning. To be honest, I'm so sore. Didn't you see that my goddess Miaojun is also inside? My heart hurts so much. This is a strong man in the Mahayana period, and he wants to join the Chen family. I heard that the Yulin dynasty offended the Qiang Holy Land some time ago and was almost destroyed by it. I guess she came here for the Yulin dynasty as well. 39%. Chapter 126. The only one left. Chen Yun spoke loudly again. Next, it will be the qualification test. He took out another disc-shaped thing with 8 trigrams engraved on it. After Chen Yun activated the magic treasures, the entire square suddenly burst into dazzling light. After a while, the light faded away. Different colors appeared above the heads of every woman in the audience. Blue, purple, red. Chen Yun frowned suddenly. Why are the cars starting in blue? Because according to what the head of the family said, Lan met the requirements for entering the Chen family. That is to say, these 9,000 people have to enter the Chen family. Chen Yun shook his head. This is definitely not possible. Blue is only the minimum requirement. Since they are all met, it is better to choose the best from the best, and choose the top group of people. 9,000 people, close to 7,000 people are all blue. There are 1,300 people who are purple, and the remaining 700 people are red. Chen Yun felt a toothache. Even if there were 700 people left, the Chen family couldn't digest it. As far as the males in the direct line are counted, on average, there are 30 or 50 people for each person. Is there still time to practice? Just give birth every day. The key point is that these are the favored sons of the major powers. If they serve so many women together, they may not be willing. 3 or 5 are acceptable, but who can stand dozens of them? Chen Yun glanced down and took a deep breath. The women who are still in the square up to now are almost the top-notch group of people in appearance, and if you take out any one, they can be regarded as a beauty level in Xuantian City. Chen Yun threw out a bunch of interspatial rings again, and then said, the ones below the red ones can also leave. Immediately, many women showed regret on their faces. Although they were high-ranking goddesses outside, no one felt that they were high-ranking in front of the Chen family. Pity. But when they saw the interspatial ring given by Chen Yun, their expressions changed immediately. There were so many heavenly and mortal treasures in it, nearly 20 kinds of heavenly rank treasures. This level, even among the major forces, is considered a treasure. The key is that there are so many people who sign up here. Is it true that the things in everyone's interspatial ring are so precious? Oh my god. If this is the case, then the Chen family is too scary, right? Thinking of this, the regretful look on their faces became even worse. Chen Yun took out the feng shui compass and activated it again. Now that there are so many reds, let's see how many oranges are on top. With the activation of magic treasures, white light lingered around the women again. After disappearing, two kinds of light suddenly appeared. Purple, orange. It's just that there are only about 1/10 of the people in orange, about 70 people. Chen Yun was also very decisive. There were almost 70 people, and he repeated the same trick. Everyone gave a little gift as compensation. More than 600 people left with regret. At this moment, there were 71 people standing alone in Jushao Square. All of them were the best quality bloodlines. Chen Yun took a glance. There are only 4 of the top 10 beauties in Zhongzhou. It seems that it is not enough to have good looks, and the talent must be the best. Among them, Miaojun is also impressively listed. Each of the 70 people was magnificent and charming, and Chen Yun felt a little moved when he looked at them. There are a total of 39 direct descendants of the Chen family, excluding the women and young children. There are only 21 left. On average, each person must marry close to 5 people. This amount is just right, not too much. Chen Yun slightly cupped hands. Please follow me. After he finished speaking, he turned around and flew upwards, and a group of women followed quickly. Soon, they arrived outside the Nine Heavens Divine Dynasty in the inner city. Chen Yun suddenly turned around and said, Everyone, I want to make it clear to everyone in advance that there are not many direct descendants of our Chen family. If you really mind that many people serve one husband together, then you can leave early. After finishing speaking, all the women looked at each other, but no one left. Miaojun said with a smile at this moment, Chen Yun elder, I can accept. Chen Yun nodded with a smile, and then continued, the son of my Chen family will be your choice later. If you don't like it, forget it. For the last step, it would be somewhat inappropriate for the Chen family to choose them. So Chen Yun gave them respect by letting them choose the Chen family. At this moment, a woman with a mature temperament and a plump figure in the crowd asked. Then can we choose Chen Yun elder? Chen Yun coughed twice, then nodded and said, yes, you can choose the elder of the Chen family. Hearing this sentence, the Fengyun woman's eyes lit up immediately. Compared with choosing the juniors of the Chen family, she preferred to choose Chen Yun, an elder with a high position and authority. And he is not young, he is over 900 years old. It's somewhat embarrassing to get mixed up with the juniors. Not only her, many older women think so. The person who spoke just now is named Chen Jink, who is behind an ancient clan in Zhongzhou. Now the cultivation base has also reached the early stage of the indistinguishable Dao stage, which is only one step away from the Mahayana stage. The entire palace of the Nine Heavens Divine Dynasty is shrouded in formation, and there are immortal cultivators guarding the door. 2 Tianyu guards in white clothes stood guard in front of the formation gap. When they saw Chen Yun approaching, they quickly saluted respectfully, meet the elder. Chen Yun nodded, and led a group of women in. Suddenly, one of the girls with a delicate face and a lively temperament showed horror in his eyes. Immortal steps. She looked at the piece of jade on her wrist. It was specially given to her by her father when she left the family, and said it could be used to test the strength of Jushao Divine Dynasty or the Chen family. Of course, this is not hostile, just curious. And the jade is exuding a faint golden light, which means that there is a cultivator very close. This jade will only emit light when it detects the fairy steps, and the golden color generally means that there are fairy steps within 100 meters. Oh my god, Jushao Divine Dynasty really has immortal ranks. It's them. The girl suddenly looked at the 2 heavenly feather guards just now. They are the only ones within 100 meters around. This is the heavenly feather guards of the Nine Heavens Divine Dynasty. They even arranged for 2 immortal cultivators to guard the gate. It seems that Jushao Divine Dynasty. No, the strength of the Chen family is far beyond our imagination. Thinking of this, joy suddenly appeared in the girl's eyes. For women, it is the dream of all women to find a strong and reliable force. As she entered the scope of the Jushao Divine Dynasty Palace, the light on her wrist became more and more dazzling, and the girl quickly covered it up. She looked around with great shock, and saw Tianyue could be seen everywhere around the palace of Jushao Divine Dynasty. Are these people all immortals? The girl couldn't help swallowing in her heart. 39%. Chapter 128 made. Soon, they arrived at the location of the Chen family. All the women looked at her with incomparable curiosity. Is this the Chen family? They were all extremely excited that they could finally enter the Chen family. Those who stood on Jushao Square almost all wanted to enter the Chen family. As for the other women who didn't come, they naturally didn't want to rely on men, or they had their own ideas. Miaojun took a deep breath, her eyes full of excitement. Father, our Yulin dynasty is saved. As long as I can enter the Chen family, how dare he touch my Yulin dynasty in Qiang Holy Land? She is in the Mahayana stage. After entering Jushao Divine Dynasty, she feels that there are too many strong people here. The aura of the Transcend Tribulation stage is everywhere, and there are even more powerful auras. Fairy steps. These auras were simply covered up, so she felt it very clearly. And as the Chen family behind Jushao Divine Dynasty, there must be more strong ones, and the Qiang Holy Land is absolutely impossible to be the opponent of the Chen family. If it was an ordinary force, Miaojun would not be willing to sacrifice the life of her daughter's family, but it would be different if it was the Chen family. This family is powerful, and being able to marry into it doesn't count as burying yourself. There is a small square in the side courtyard of the Chen family, which is used for family meetings on weekdays and the like. It's just that it's almost useless, and it's usually discussed directly in the meeting hall, and then passed on directly. The beautiful women stood quietly one by one. Chen Yun took out the jade talisman of communication and summoned the descendants of the Chen family. In just a few breaths, a young man in white appeared next to Chen Yun. He faced the wind with jade, and his demeanor was refined. The direct descendant of the Chen family, Chen Yuan. Chen Yuan bowed slightly to Chen Yun. Chen Yuan, I have seen the big elder. Then he saluted all the women in the audience with a smile on their faces. Chen Yuan, returned to void period, 26 years old. A group of women couldn't help but their hearts fluttered. Before they came, they already knew all the direct descendants of the Chen family. This Chen Yuan is a strong void returner at a young age. Even Miao Zhen, who is extremely talented among them, cannot reach such a level at such an age. Back then Miao Zhen only broke through the divine transformation late stage at the age of 30. In comparison, she was far behind Chen Yuan. When they joined the Chen family, one of the things they were most worried about was the eccentric personalities of these direct descendants, but at first glance, they felt that the possibility of this should be minimal. Judging from the previous Xinsheng test in Jushao Square, the Chen family should attach great importance to Xinsheng. Combined with the attitude of Chen Yuan in front of him, there should be no weird personality. After a while, Chen Jin also came here. He carried a long knife on his back, his whole body was sharp, and he had a rampant and domineering temperament on his body. Chen Jin saluted Chen Yun first, and then cupped his hands to a group of women with a smile on his face. Soon, elders like Chen Shan also came here, as well as juniors like Chen Shang. Chen Yun first made a detailed self-introduction to each of them, just to get to know them briefly, although the people who came here already knew about them. Even many people already have a favorite object. After everyone had finished their introductions, just as Chen Yun was about to announce the start, a figure slowly walked over. Chen Yun was startled, and hurriedly saluted, "Greetings to Patriarch." Chen Shan, Chen Shang and others beside him also saluted one after another. "Meet the Patriarch." All the women in the audience immediately looked in another direction, only to see a handsome young man walking with his hands behind his back, his eyes full of indifference. All the girls were shocked. This is the head of the Chen family. Chen Daojun, meet Patriarch Chen. All the women also saluted one after another. Chen Daojun nodded towards them. In fact, he didn't want to come, mainly because one of these people was an acquaintance. Lu Ling. Chen Daojun didn't know why this girl also ran over. In the crowd, Lu Ling met Chen Daojun's eyes, she immediately blushed and turned her head away. During this period of time, she was in Xuantian City, and after hearing about the Chen family, Lu Ling also came over to join in the fun. Chen Daojun just glanced at Lu Ling, then stood on the chair at the back of Chen Shang and the others, and said lightly, "Go ahead." The hearts of all the girls were shocked. Is Patriarch Chen also going to participate? So do we have a chance to choose Patriarch Chen? But such thoughts, most women just pass away in a flash. Chen Daojun is the head of the Chen family, and only a top-notch woman is eligible to be worthy of him, so all the women are very self-conscious. Only Miaojun and so on, the eyes flowed at this moment. Of course, Chen Daojun's purpose was not to choose a wife, He came because of Lu Ling. Among these people, Lu Ling was also qualified to be with him, and the others were at best to be maids. Only then did Chen Yun speak. In that case, let's start. As soon as the words fell, a young and beautiful woman stood up immediately. She accused Chen Jin with a shy face and said, I choose Chen Jin, young master. Chen Jin immediately looked at the person who spoke. The person was wearing a light green long dress, with a slender figure, with a bulging front and back, and a clean and fresh temperament on his body. Chen Jin nodded with a smile, then raised his hand and took the girl to his side. Chen Jin had never had an emotional experience, and he didn't know what to say, so he simply stopped talking, and the woman stood beside him a little shyly. The children of the Chen family are not bad. Among the younger generation, each of them started at the stage of returning to the void, and all of them have extraordinary temperament. There is nothing to choose from among the girls, and they are all assigned according to the number of people with a tacit understanding. Anyway, there are 3 to 4 people on average. The scene of choosing a wife like this is very weird, and I have never heard of anyone doing it like this before. But this happened in the Chen family, so no matter how weird it is. In the end, there were only 4 people left. They are Miaojun of Yulin Dynasty and cultivation base of Mahayana period. Zhou Qingqing from the Zhou family, Yang Linger from the Yang family, and the last one is Lu Ling. 3 of them are among the top 10 beauties in Zhongzhou, and except for Lu Ling, all 3 of them are Mahayana period. Miaojun is the Mahayana middle stage, Zhou Qingqing and Yang Linger are the Mahayana early stage. The 3 of them have no choice until now. That's because the 3 of them also have arrogance in their hearts. It is okay to join the Chen family, but the Chen family must have someone who is worthy of them. Miaojun thought for a moment, then walked forward. Chen Yun elder, can I choose? Patriarch. Chen Yun immediately looked at Chen Daojun. It doesn't matter what he said about this kind of thing, it has to be said by the owner. Chen Daojun said flatly, if you choose me, you can only be a maid. Without further ado, Miaojun knelt down. Your maidservant pays homage to the patriarch. Compared to marrying those direct descendants of the Chen family, she would rather be Chen Daojun's maid. Zhou Qingqing and Yang Linger looked at each other, took a step forward, and knelt down towards Chen Daojun. Slaves are also willing to follow the patriarch. Seeing this scene, Lu Ling on the side suddenly became a little anxious. She didn't know why this happened, but she was a little anxious in her heart. 40%. Chapter 129 Making a Baby. Chen Daojun looked at the 3 women in front of him, feeling a little embarrassed in his heart. No matter what, he ran to follow him. But it doesn't matter, Chen Daojun is planning to give birth to a child, maybe these people can help him. Although he is also the shopkeeper of the hands-off shopkeeper now, there is always a feeling of shackles. Even if it is the shopkeeper of the hands-off shopkeeper, he is also the head of the Chen family. This kind of mentality is still different. So Chen Daojun wanted to have a child to inherit the position of head of the Chen family. However, the 3 of Miaojun are not the point. Chen Daojun looked at Lu Ling and said with great interest. What about you? Do you have a choice? Lu Ling was taken aback for a moment. She thought Chen Daojun would directly expose her. Not only Lu Ling, but many people around had strange lights in their eyes, and they all smelled something unusual. Lu Ling shook her head helplessly. Chen fellow Taoist, we can't do it, my people won't agree. Chen Daojun seems to have an inexplicable attraction. Although the 2 of them spend a short time together, Lu Ling feels very relaxed and happy when he is by his side. She wanted to continue to stay by Chen Daojun's side, and even stayed by his side all the time. However, this will not work. The Tianlingliu family would not agree if they knew about it. Many people around suddenly narrowed their eyes, as if they really had something to do with it. Fellow Taoist. This is the name among peers. Chen Daojun asked lightly. What is the strongest member of the Tianlingliu clan? What is the cultivation base? Lu Ling shook her head and said through voice transmission. My people are very strong, and there are 3 in true immortal realm, so it's impossible for us. In the upper realm, true immortal realm is already considered a power. And their Tianlingliu clan is also a relatively powerful race, with 3 true immortals at the same time. Chen Daojun smiled faintly, and he raised his hand to grab Lu Ling. In an instant, Lu Ling felt that there was only darkness in the surrounding space, and only a giant hand in front of him, and he seemed to have sunk into an abyss. Cold sweat broke out from Lu Ling's forehead, and she froze in place, her eyes filled with fear. Really? True immortal. She never expected from the beginning to the end that Chen Daojun turned out to be the true immortal cultivation base. Moreover, the comprehension of the power of the law is extremely strange, as if his own mind had been separated from his body just now. Chen Daojun didn't speak, but said silently in his heart, "Call." In an instant, nearly 100 figures appeared in the center of the square, each of them erupting with an incomparably powerful aura. Lu Ling's expression froze in place for an instant. She looked at the scene in front of her in disbelief, and even rubbed her eyes subconsciously. True immortal, all true immortal. How can this be? How could there be so many true immortal cultivators hidden in the nether? Not only them, everyone in the square stared wide-eyed, looking at the scene in front of them in disbelief. These are all fairy steps. There is a very big difference between mortal realm cultivator and immortal rank cultivator, that is spiritual chi. And the power of these people is much purer than that of mortal realm, and they can only be immortal cultivators. The Chen family is really terrifying, it actually has so many immortal cultivators. At this time, they looked at Chen Daojun again, only to feel that the other party revealed an unparalleled majesty and domineering, as if the God King ruled the world. Is this the head of the Chen family? No wonder you can control Jushao Divine Dynasty. This group of people knelt down to Chen Daojun and said respectfully, "Meet the patriarch." Chen Daojun waved his hand lightly, and the group of true immortals disappeared immediately, and he looked at Lu Ling, who was still there. How is it enough? Lu Ling couldn't help swallowing. That's enough. With so many true immortals, why are they afraid of the Tianlingliu clan? The two are hardly on the same level. And this patriarch Chen is really the true immortal cultivation base. To be able to control so many true immortals, at least all of them must be Tai mysterious immortals, right? But Lu Ling came to her senses. Did she really want to marry Chen Daojun? Her cheeks were slightly rosy. Although she didn't feel too repulsed in her heart, as a daughter, she was naturally a little bit speechless. And this feeling is extremely weird, with an indescribable taste. Seeing her appearance, Chen Daojun didn't bother to talk nonsense, and directly raised his hand. A wave of space power enveloped Miaojun's 4 daughters, and then disappeared in place in an instant. When it reappeared, it had already arrived at Qingxinyuan. Chen Daojun said to Miaojun, "There are many rooms around Qingxinyuan, all of which are unoccupied. You can just pick a place." The circle around the Qingxinyuan is a partial courtyard, which is exclusive to the head of the family. Miaojun immediately said respectfully, "Thank you, master." Miaojun will leave. Zhou Qingqing glanced at Lu Ling enviously. Obviously, the patriarch favored this woman even more. However, there was some dissatisfaction in her eyes. As one of the top 10 beauties in Zhongzhou, she was comparable to Lu Ling in terms of appearance, but the attitudes of the two patriarchs were very different. After the 3 girls had left, Chen Daojun went up to save Lu Ling and walked into the house. Lu Ling's face was full of panic. She naturally knew what Chen Daojun wanted to do. At this moment, she also knew what the strange feeling in Dao heart was. Too fast. The relationship between the two progressed too fast, but she didn't reject it at all, and didn't even want to refuse. This weird feeling comes from this. It feels too fast, but not repulsive. Pushing open the door, Lin Wanqing was still resting. She was very tired these few days. Chen Daojun said flatly, "Wanqing, make room." Time passed slowly. 3 days passed. The backyard of Qingxinyuan. Lu Ling was wearing a light gauze, her cheeks were rosy, and Chen Daojun was sticking to her belly, as if listening to something. Is 3 days still too short? Chen Daojun couldn't help shaking his head, he was still too anxious. It seems that it is still difficult to have a baby. Chen Daojun. Time passed slowly like a fleeting moment. 3 months passed in the blink of an eye. During the past 3 months, Chen Daojun has been making babies almost all the time. Unfortunately, after 3 months, her stomach still didn't respond, and Chen Daojun didn't notice the birth of a new life. Chen Daojun felt extremely uncomfortable. If he knew it earlier, he would be the only one, and it made him feel so uncomfortable now. Chen Daojun learned from Lu Ling that it is extremely difficult to give birth to offspring at the immortal level. Even if one is lucky, it takes hundreds of years, and even many 10,000 years without offspring. Once you step into the fairy rank, your lifespan will be several 110,000 years. After the celestial immortal, it can be said that the lifespan is infinite, not to mention the true immortal, there is almost no concept of lifespan. How many 10,000 years count? Even if it is a few 110,000 years, it doesn't matter. But Chen Daojun doesn't think so. A few 10,000 years is too long. 40%. Chapter 130 Yulin Dynasty. But there are more and more women around me. Chen Daojun couldn't help but shook his head, and began to reflect on why he was not close to women in the beginning, to where he is today. Lin Wanqing. Right, that's her. Thinking of this, Chen Daojun felt a little speechless. If it weren't for Lin Wanqing's various temptations every day, he would not have fallen into the abyss. Shaking his head, Chen Daojun disappeared in place. When it appeared again, it had already arrived in Jushao Shrine. In the empty Great Hall, on the throne, Ziyi is resting quietly. The emperors of cultivation world are different from ordinary emperors. They don't need to correct the memorials every day. Generally, they only need to report when major events happen. So in many cases, Ziyi actually didn't have much to do. After several years of training, coupled with the improvement of the inner city environment, Ziyi also broke through the immortal realm. Chen Daojun looked towards Ziyi. She was wearing a lavender robe, she was indescribably elegant and charming, and she also had a sense of heroism. Chen Daojun walked forward slowly. It was only at this time that Ziyi realized that she stood up quickly. Meet the owner. Chen Daojun nodded and said, Ziyi, you have worked hard all these years. There was a smile on Ziyi's face. These are what Ziyi should do. For her, doing things for Chen Daojun is the right thing to do. There is no such thing as hard work or hard work. Chen Daojun's concern still made her extremely happy. Chen Daojun sat straight on the throne, and asked, did something big happen in Jushao Divine Dynasty recently? Ziyi pondered for a moment, then glanced at Chen Daojun, then took 2 steps forward, and sat directly in Chen Daojun's arms, wrapping his hands around his neck. Ziyi said without blushing, Patriarch, can I say that? Feeling the soft body in his arms, Chen Daojun looked down at Ziyi. But he didn't push Ziyi away, instead he hugged her even tighter. Chen Daojun gently stroked Ziyi's head. Fine. Anyway, there are already enough women around me, and this one is not bad. Feeling Chen Daojun's caress, Ziyi was full of enjoyment. Like a kitten, she did not answer Chen Daojun's previous inquiry. Jushao Divine Dynasty hasn't had any major incidents in the past few years, and she doesn't bother to report some small things. The two hugged each other for a long time before separating. Ziyi is the first female character drawn by Chen Daojun. Chen Daojun can't bear to stay alone in this shrine. Chen Daojun said, Ziyi, you can come to my Qingxinyuan whenever you have nothing to do. Ziyi's face was full of joy when he heard the words, thank you Patriarch. This sentence is equivalent to recognizing her. For Ziyi, her feelings are extremely pure. She doesn't need a status, as long as she can be by Chen Daojun's side. After a period of time, the wasteland fell into silence again. But the Chen family was boiling and sweating profusely. Almost all the descendants of the Chen family are desperately making babies and completing the tasks assigned by the head of the family. In order not to delay their cultivation, Chen Daojun also directly gave them the dual cultivation technique, which can not only make babies, but also cultivate, and have the best of both worlds. With so many lottery draws, Chen Daojun also drew a lot of weird things, including dual cultivation technique. And all of them have reached his realm. Even if they don't have one, they can create a dual cultivation technique at will. Back at Qingxinyuan, Chen Daojun started his sinking life again. Today, in the front yard, Chen Daojun asked, Miaojun, what's so interesting about Zhongzhou? After staying in the Chen family for so long, he wanted to go out and roam around again. I used to say that I had a lot of fun in the Northern Territory, but I always ran into trouble, and I was a little unhappy, so I came back directly. This time when he goes out again, he will no longer keep a low profile. He must let everyone know that I, Chen Daojun, are here. In order to avoid a little guy running up to harass me, it's too annoying. Miaojun was lying beside him, being gently massaged. When she heard that, joy suddenly appeared in her eyes. After coming to the Chen family for so many days, there are many strong people here, but she has not been able to find a chance to ask the Chen family to help her solve the troubles of the Yulin dynasty. But now Chen Daojun gave her this chance. Miaojun quickly said, Patriarch, I am the eldest princess of the Yulin dynasty. If the Patriarch does not dislike it, you can visit my Yulin dynasty and I can lead the way. The Yulin dynasty. Chen Daojun thought for a while, and he also had the impression of this force in his mind. He asked Chen Yuanliang to investigate the power of Zhongzhou before, and the Yulin dynasty seems to be quite strong, with a transcend tribulation early stage powerhouse in charge. Chen Daojun nodded and said, all right, in 3 days, we will leave for the Yulin dynasty. Hearing this, 2 blushes appeared on Miaojun's face, which was caused by excitement. Chen Daojun took a look at her, and had to say that now own Qingxinyuan is full of beauties, and this Miaojun's appearance, figure and temperament are almost at the level of Lu Ling. It can only be said that each has its own flavor. Chen Daojun picked him up, walked out of Qingxinyuan, and walked towards the side courtyard, which was Miaojun's room. Chen Daojun didn't talk to Miaojun's 3 new maids. As the head of the family, he felt that it was necessary to have an in-depth exchange with them. Miao Zhen suddenly trembled shyly. Although this is the cultivation world, women also attach great importance to chastity. Although she is not young, she has never had such intimate contact with a man. Not to mention, for 3 days, Chen Daojun had in-depth communication with Miaojun, Yang Linger, and Zhou Qingqing respectively to get a general understanding. At least the depth is exposed. Among the 3 of them, Yang Linger was the youngest, only 43 years old. Compared to the other 2, she was indeed too young. But still older than Chen Daojun. 3 days later, an incomparably powerful aura erupted instantly, and the phantom of Che Lun manifested from within Xuantian City. In front of Che Lun, 3 dragon horses galloped away in the distance. The aura was earth-shattering. Around the carriage, there were 4 figures who looked like immortals. As the carriage headed towards Zhongzhou, countless people looked up at this scene with horror in their eyes. There is a word Chen on the carriage. Could it be the Chen family? Aren't you talking nonsense? This thing that flies out of the inner city, there is no one other than the Chen family. In the entire Xuantian city, only Jushao divine dynasty and the Chen family can control the sky. You can see the others flying into the sky. Won't you call it down? This phantom is too familiar. It can't be Patriarch Chen, right? Indeed, phantoms often erupted in the inner city before, and almost all of them were related to Patriarch Chen. Why do the figures beside the carriage look so familiar? That looks so familiar, my goddess Miaojun. A piercing cry sounded. 40%. Chapter 131 Red Sun Holy Land. Almost everyone in the wasteland saw the huge phantom of the chariot, and its aura was earth-shattering. In the chariot, Chen Daojun and Lu Ling sat together. Strictly speaking, Lu Ling is On's first wife, and the others are just maids. At the beginning, Chen Daojun was not close to women, but because of Lin Wanqing, some different ideas appeared, but because of too much work recently, Chen Daojun became desireless. It seems that's the case. From Lu Ling, I learned that the realm levels in the upper realm are divided into human immortals, earth immortals, heavenly immortals, true immortal, Tai mysterious immortal, immemorial golden immortal, these 6 realms. And once you step out of the immemorial golden immortal, you will become the world lord. The realm lord is also divided into multiple realms, namely immortal king, immortal monarch, immortal venerable, and immortal emperor. That is to say, with his current strength, he can be regarded as mid-level in the entire upper realm at most, so Chen Daojun is not in a hurry to enter the upper realm. At least step into the immortal king realm in the nether before considering ascension. Because even if he ascended, he didn't consider acting low-key. As for whether there are other realms above immortal emperor, Lu Ling is not very clear. In her cognition, immortal emperor is already the highest realm. And even the immortal emperor is only a figure at the legendary level, only heard about, but never seen. Even in their Wandao immortal dynasty, there is only one true immortal returned to origin sitting in the town, which is too far away from the immortal emperor. Beside the chariot, Miaojun's face was full of excitement, and she felt like returning home in brocade clothes. During this period of training in the Qingxin Academy, not only did the cultivation base surge, but he also practiced several immortal-level cultivation techniques. It must not take long before he can directly break through the transcend tribulation period. Miaojun's face suddenly flushed. In fact, the most rewarding one is the previous dual cultivation with Chen Daojun, which allowed her to break through from the Mahayana early stage to the Mahayana late stage. This is just a dual cultivation, but it has already brought such a huge harvest. During the dual cultivation with Chen Daojun, that pure power poured into her body, making her feel as if her whole body had been washed. Originally, dual cultivation was to promote together, but the power she fed back to Chen Daojun was very rare, and it was Chen Daojun who brought him benefits. If I do dual cultivation again, will I be able to break through to the transcend tribulation period? Thinking of this, Miao Zhen looked a little shy. Yang Linger stood at the back with him, and naturally noticed Miaojun's little movements. Seeing the rosy face in a daze, Yang Linger immediately guessed what Miaojun was thinking. Definitely not clean, because she was also thinking that women know women best. When the 3 girls wanted to join the Chen family, they all had their own ideas. For example, Yonglinger was mostly requested by the family behind her. In fact, she herself was not very willing. Of course, this was before entering Xuantian City. But after entering Xuantian City, seeing so many strong men there, she was shaken, completely shaken. In the end, she changed her mind completely, naturally, in the square of the Chen family. She saw that the children of the Chen family were all of extraordinary temperament. At that time, Yonglinger was thinking about a question: if she didn't marry into the Chen family, who would be worthy of her? Zhou Qingqing was purely out of interest. She wanted to rely on the Chen family to obtain resources and status. Miao Jun wanted the Chen family to help solve the crisis of the Yulin dynasty. Although the three of them have their own Xiao Juju, it doesn't mean that they will betray. After all, they don't have any emotional basis. Marrying into the Chen family at this time is only possible because of their interests. However, during this period of time, their thoughts have changed somewhat. Chen Daojun's strength is extremely powerful and unfathomable, and his attitude towards them is very friendly, without any sense of unfamiliarity between superiors and subordinates. Originally like Miao Jun, she was ready to be Chen Daojun's plaything, but found that this is not the case. Chen Daojun doesn't force them to do something, and even thinks about them often. A strong and gentle man, who wouldn't be tempted? Chen Daojun's attitude made the three girls gradually let go of their pride in Zhongzhou's top 10 beauties. Look, what is that? My God, this came from the wasteland. I saw it from a long distance just now. There is a word Chen on this car. Could it be from the Chen family? It's such a strong aura. The aura emanating from this car, even during the transcend tribulation period, it can't be compared at all. Countless people's eyes were full of horror, and everyone in Zhongzhou looked up. In a hidden corner of Zhongzhou, several cold eyes watched the car above. The Chen family. It's coming. Just right. Yulin Dynasty. Tianlin Palace. All the high-ranking and powerful people in the dynasty gathered here, and the person at the top was wearing a Qilin robe. His complexion was a little pale, and the spiritual qi in his body was extremely disordered. Your Majesty, there is still half a month before the time stipulated by Qiang Holy Land. If they don't give an affirmative answer, they will attack my Yulin dynasty. Didn't the eldest princess go to Xuantian City? She hasn't come back for so long, so she must have married into the Chen family. That's right, there is also the eldest princess, and now she is the only one who can save our Yulin dynasty. At this moment, the man on the throne spoke. All right. The dull loud noise echoed in the great hall, and everyone turned their heads to look at him. Miao Huan's eyes were full of seriousness. For him, it was a shame to let the eldest princess marry the Chen family in exchange for the stability of the Yulin dynasty. Miao Heng said decisively, the Yulin sword is the treasure of our Yulin dynasty. It is absolutely impossible to hand it over to Qiang Holy Land. This is the foundation of our dynasty. Their Yulin dynasty and the Qiang Holy Land were enmity because of this Yulin sword. This sword was left by their ancestors. According to the grade, it can barely be regarded as a treasure of the immortal rank, and it has the effect of absorbing all things. Qiang Holy Land wanted them to hand over this treasure, but of course Miao Heng was unwilling, so the two sides fought, and Miao Heng was seriously injured. Now the sphere of influence of the dynasty has been cut in half. The Qiang Holy Land also gave them an ultimatum, to hand over the sword in half a month, otherwise the Yulin dynasty would be destroyed directly. Although he is very unwilling to accept the reality, the current Yulin dynasty is indeed only saved by Miao Jun. If he can get the Chen family to take action, the crisis in Qiang Holy Land will naturally be resolved. But a few days ago he sent people to Xuantian City to inquire, and Miao Jun seemed to be the maid of Patriarch Chen, which made him feel a little worried. A maid who speaks softly, is the Chen family really willing to take action? At this moment, an extremely powerful breath exploded and spread towards the Yulin dynasty in an instant. Miao Heng was startled suddenly. Could it be that the Holy Land of Qiang came to attack? 41%. Chapter 132 The Immortals. Miao Heng and others hurried out of the Great Hall, and a shocking scene came into view immediately. I saw a huge and incomparably phantom in the sky, he shrouding the heavens covering the sun, looking extremely spectacular. The phantom is a carriage surrounded by 4 figures, each of which is magnificent. Miao Jun. Miao Heng looked at one of the figures, his eyes were full of surprise, but soon turned into joy. Then the owner of this carriage is Chen Daojun. He never thought that Miao Jun invited this big Buddha over. The phantom disappeared. Looking at the familiar scene below, Miao Jun was extremely excited. She turned her head and respectfully said to the carriage, "Master, this is the Yulin dynasty." Chen Daojun stepped out of the carriage, and he scanned the surrounding area. The scenery in Zhongzhou is actually similar to the wasteland. In the past, spiritual qi was stronger in Zhongzhou, but now the wasteland is much richer than Zhongzhou, so the environment is much better than Zhongzhou. After just one glance, Chen Daojun had already lost interest. But since the scenery can't be played, let's experience the humanistic atmosphere. Chen Daojun nodded, just about to speak. Suddenly, the world is in turmoil. Boom. There was a loud bang, and everyone felt as if their heads had been hit by a heavy object, and the buzzing sounded continuously. Boom. Boom. The loud noise broke out again, as if someone outside the world was hammering the celestial star realm. Chen Daojun looked towards the sky with serious eyes. What's happening here? With his true immortal's cultivation base, he didn't even know what happened. Could it be that someone has invaded the celestial star realm, and the cultivation base is higher than true immortal? Boom. An even stronger loud noise erupted, and the world seemed to be shattered. A huge black hole appeared at the top, and an extremely evil breath came from it. Jia Jia Jia, the celestial star realm, this seat is here. An extremely cold and evil voice sounded, echoing in the celestial star realm. What's happening here? Some people looked at the sky in bewilderment, and some still didn't recover. They have never heard of such a formation. But there are also quite a few forces, looking at the sky solemnly at this moment, with extremely fear in their eyes. Evil repair. Moreover, he is an evil cultivator of the immortal rank. It is definitely not a good thing for such a person to come to the celestial star realm. A figure slowly walked out of the void. He was wearing a black robe, his face was covered with strange purple-blue lines, and his hands had extremely sharp nails. At first glance, it seems to be a hybrid of humans and animals. The man in black robe looked down and couldn't help licking his lips, his face was full of intoxication. The powerful power of heavenly Tao is not in vain. I have made so many preparations. It is too difficult to avoid the eyes of Zui Immortal Domain and enter the lower realm. In the upper bound, Crepe Myrtle Immortal Domain is a big force, ruling countless worlds, including hundreds of thousands of minor worlds, and there are immortal monarch-level powerhouses in the Immortal Domain. In Zui Immortal Domain, if you want to enter the lower realm, you must enter through normal channels. But if this is the case, people in Zui Immortal Domain will definitely notice it. After all, he is an evil cultivator. Entering the lower realm like this is no different from seeking his own death. Although the Heavenly Star Realm is only a world under Wan Dao Immortal Dynasty, it is also under the jurisdiction of Zui Immortal Domain, so he can only find another way to enter. At this moment, several figures appeared beside him. Meet Lord Evil God. The few people who came here were the top experts from Qiang Holy Land, Heavenly Xing Holy Land, Hengduan Mountain, and Kangmang Academy, and they were the ones who specialized in uniting internal and external forces for the evil gods, and kept nibbling away at Heavenly Tao, which allowed him to enter the celestial star realm. Satisfaction flashed in the eyes of the evil god. These people are very sensible. You guys did a good job this time. When I swallow the star world for this day, I will definitely share some of the energy with you. He had devoured 2 worlds before, and the power of Heavenly Tao was of great help to his mysterious immortal, so the evil god planned to continue like this in the future. And if he wants to integrate internally and externally, someone must help him, and these people in front of him are very suitable candidates. He has prepared all the plans, that is, when this time is over, let them go to the next world to ambush and wait for the opportunity. The speed of devouring the world cannot be too fast, otherwise Zui Immortal Domain will find out. It is set to devour a world in 1/10,000 year. He is not worried about Wan Dao Immortal Dynasty, it is just a small faction, there is only one true immortal returned to Origin Realm, it is impossible to find himself. When several people heard this, their faces showed excitement. The reason why they cooperated with the evil gods was because there was no hope of breaking through the immortal ranks, so they took the risk. If they practiced normally, they would at most break through half-step immortals, and it would be impossible for them to ascend to the upper realm, and if they wanted to continue to break through, they had to not take the usual path. Thank you, Lord Cthulhu. The evil god smiled, and then turned his gaze to the celestial star realm. With a wave of his hand, a strange force enveloped it directly. At this moment in the celestial star realm, no news could be spread. Terrifying suction emanated from his body, and black lines were released from his body, and then spread towards the entire celestial star realm. His purpose is not to devour the creatures of this world, but the heavenly Tao of the celestial star realm. Heavenly Tao's power is as vast as the sea. Even if it is the sum of all living beings, it is not as good as 1,000th of his. Devouring souls doesn't make any sense to him either. The strongest person in the celestial star realm is only in the transcend tribulation period, and only has a little power of law. As these black lines spread, everyone in the celestial star realm saw an extremely terrifying scene. This black pattern is like a spider web, covering the entire celestial star realm. What a powerful heavenly Tao power! Excitement flashed in the evil god's eyes. He did not expect the power of heavenly Tao to be so strong. Get rich now. The star realm completely exceeded his expectations that day. I completely absorbed this world, and if I absorb a few more, I might be able to break through the mysterious immortal middle stage. Now, Chen Daojun looked at the figure high in the sky with a solemn expression. Mysterious immortal realm. Feeling the power passing quickly between the heaven and the earth, Chen Daojun's eyes were full of coldness. He had long regarded the celestial star realm as his own territory, but someone who was blind dared to invade his territory, which made him angry. Suddenly, an extremely powerful breath erupted from the wasteland. The evil god who was devouring was suddenly startled and looked into the distance. True immortal. There is still a true immortal realm in this world. But there was a coldness in the eyes of the evil god, and he disappeared in the same place in an instant, so let's kill him. But at the next moment when his figure just disappeared, the entire celestial star realm suddenly erupted with incomparably powerful breaths, and each of these breaths was shocking. Countless phantoms appeared in the celestial star realm, and the aura of each figure was extremely powerful. The evil god paused, his eyes full of disbelief. True immortal. It turned out to be all true immortal. There are at least 3,000 true immortals, and nearly 20,000 cultivators. What is going on in the star world today? 1. 41%. Chapter 133 The Tree of Thorns, Zhao King. Countless powerful auras filled the entire celestial star realm. Each of the condensed avatars is tens of thousands of feet long, just like gods and demons standing between the heaven and the earth. At the same time, the celestial star realm began to collapse inch by inch, because he couldn't bear so many strong people. How is this possible? Why are there so many strong people in this minor world? The evil god's eyes were full of disbelief, and he screamed and lost his voice. Although he is a mysterious immortal realm, facing so many true immortals, he is absolutely impossible to be an opponent. Why is this happening? The eyes of the evil god are full of unwillingness. In order to devour the world, he has prepared a time close to 10,000 years. Although this time is not too long, he is still very unwilling. The heavenly Tao law of this world is too powerful, it will be of great help to own, he is reluctant to give up just like that. Damn it! The evil god's eyes were full of anger and murderous intent. Although he was very unwilling, the situation in front of him also forced him to retreat temporarily. If there was a real battle, he would definitely not be able to fight, and it would also attract the strong people from Zui immortal domain. At that time, 10 lives would not be enough for him to die. The masters of the major powers beside him all had panicked faces at this moment. Most of these breaths erupted from the wilderness. Could it be that they are all strong in the wilderness? No one expected that the master behind this barren land would have such a powerful background, and there would be so many powerful immortals. Although they couldn't judge the specific strength of these people, Lord Xie Shen's demeanor must be able to threaten his existence. Damn it! Their mood is similar to that of evil gods. In order to break through the human immortal realm, they have prepared for a long time and planted many foreshadowings, just to let the evil god swallow this world one day. But now she was stillborn, the plan had just begun, and it was already over. Not only is the plan failing now, they may also face a life and death crisis. If the evil god is unwilling to save them, the people of the celestial star realm will definitely not let them go. A few of them came up to meet up just now, but many people saw it. The evil god narrowed his eyes, and he snorted coldly. Even if I can't devour this world, I will definitely not make it easy for you. An extremely evil breath burst out from his body, and then quickly spread towards the entire celestial star realm. He wanted to use his own power to directly infect the celestial star realm and become a demon realm. Once it becomes a demon realm, spiritual qi will also transform into devilish qi, and this world will no longer be suitable for human cultivators to survive. If you want to purify, you need to spend a lot of money to do it. Although they have a lot of true immortal cultivators, they are mysterious immortal realms anyway, and it is impossible to purify them without a few 100,000 years. Although it's not a big threat, the main thing is a disgusting one. I have to vent this bad breath. Suddenly, the space around the evil god seemed to be completely frozen, and he couldn't move at all. What happened? The back of the evil god felt a little chilly, and as a mysterious immortal, he didn't realize when he was recruited. Could it be immemorial golden immortal? Impossible. This is just a minor world. Why is there such a powerful cultivator? Fear flashed in the evil god's eyes. Chen Daojun slowly floated up from the ground, and he looked at the evil god indifferently. The time is almost up. I saw him take out a card, which was as black as ink, engraved with very beautiful patterns. Chen Daojun muttered silently, and the card disappeared from his hand immediately. This thing is called the stagnation card, and it is a small thing he drew before, which can freeze the time of any cultivator under immemorial golden immortal for 10 breaths. When Chen Daojun was thinking about how to kill this evil god, a huge vine shot up from Xuantian City. This vine is extremely thick, with a diameter of nearly 100 meters, and there are many small vines surrounding it. The vine pierced through the sky, and reached Chen Daojun's side within a few breaths. He swayed his own branches, and touched Chen Daojun affectionately. Chen Daojun immediately understood his thoughts. You want to devour him. The vine in front of him is naturally the tree of thorns, and since he got the top quality Lingqi spring, it is the tree of thorns that has benefited the most. His current cultivation base has also grown to Earth Immortal's realm, and there have been many changes that Chen Daojun can't see through. Ancient thorn tree. The evil god's pupils shrank, and a look of fear flashed in his eyes. Isn't this ancient tree dead? Why does it still appear in the lower realm? You really deserve to die. You dare to raise an ancient thorn tree. Do you know what the consequences will be? The sound of angry reprimand continued to sound, and the tone of the evil god was extremely flustered, obviously fearful of the tree of thorns to the extreme. Chen Daojun's eyes were full of doubts. Is this tree of thorns so terrifying? Lu Ling was terrified the first time she saw her before, and her face immediately turned pale. But after getting along with each other for a while, it eased up a lot. He touched the tree of thorns. It's nothing special. It just grows very fast, and then eats everything, which is similar to the own phagocytosis law. But it's not that scary, right? You are a mysterious immortal big cultivator, afraid of a monster clan of Earth Immortals. While thinking, Chen Daojun added a stagnation card to the evil god to prevent him from moving around. Zhao King, I'll leave him to you. Zhao King is the name of the tree of thorns, which he obtained later. It is still alive, so how can it do without a name? You can't just call him the tree of thorns every time, right? Zhao King instantly rushed towards the evil god and entangled him in circles. The evil god couldn't move, and kept screaming in horror. Zhao King obviously hadn't touched him yet, but his face was already completely distorted by fear. Chen Daojun also watched intently. He also wanted to see what Zhao King was capable of, to make so many people fear him. Zhao King switched to an offensive state, with incomparably sharp spikes growing on his surface, and then completely enveloped the evil god. In an instant, an extremely powerful suction came out of Zhao King's body. The devilish qi in the evil god's body was passing away quickly, being absorbed by Zhao King. It felt as if a balloon had been shattered. Chen Daojun's expression also became extremely solemn. No, the same. The devouring of the tree of thorns is completely different from his. After Zhao King absorbed the evil god devilish qi, streams of black power flowed down the huge texture, but soon disappeared completely. Breakdown. To be precise, Zhao King's ability should be decomposition. There is a limit to devouring him no matter what, but Zhao King's ability can directly decompose and absorb all power. It will also grow while absorbing, that is to say, as long as it is fed with energy, no matter how much energy it has, it will not burst Zhao King. You must know that this evil god is mysterious immortal cultivation base, while Zhao King is only Earth Immortals, but he can absorb the power of the opponent's body so unscrupulously. If you let him absorb it, it will never be so easy. 41%. Chapter 134. Hatred absorbing physique. It can even be said that it is completely impossible. No wonder they all fear the tree of thorns so much. Being able to directly decompose and absorb power, that is to say, any attack power that falls on him may be absorbed by it and grow by it. Only a power far beyond what he can bear, or a body cultivator, can threaten him. But the body cultivator cannot be stronger than his body. The energy Zhao King needs to grow is almost 10 times that of the same realm. Unless it is a body cultivator whose realm is far beyond him, it is possible to defeat him. Chen Daojun's eyes were full of seriousness. This tree of thorns seems to be more extraordinary than I imagined. This power of decomposition is a bit like Tai Chi yin and yang. Could it be that innate comprehended the terrifying demonic beasts of the power of two laws? It's really possible. After all, this is something that the system has created. Time passed quickly, and the effects of the stasis card passed quickly. Chen Daojun added another one. The opponent was mysterious immortal, and Zhao King probably couldn't completely restrain him. And from what he said, the Tree of Thorns seems to be a very terrifying thing. If the news spreads, it may attract many people to crusade. If there is any strong person among them, it is not so good. Chen Daojun turned his head to look at the masters of the four powers who were retreating quietly. The four of them stood upside down, knelt down and said, "My lord, we were all coerced. Please forgive me, my lord, I have to be a cow and a horse." Before finishing speaking, Chen Daojun directly raised his hand and killed the four of them. Countless powerhouses in the celestial star realm were watching, and when they saw Chen Daojun slapping the masters of the four top powers to death, they all felt extremely terrified. Especially those four major forces. Now many people have started to run away quietly. I was afraid that Chen Daojun would continue to trouble them afterwards. The evil god also knew that he might have no way out today, and he was annoyed. He also shouted angrily, "Feed the Tree of Thorns, and you will be swallowed by it sooner or later. I am a member of the devil world. If you kill me, the devil world will not let you go. Over yours." He really wanted to send the message out, but he couldn't move at all. He couldn't even grasp the source of this weird power, and his whole body seemed to be stagnant in time, except for the thoughts in his brain. He couldn't do any other operations. Damn it. Is it possible that he is a powerhouse at the level of the World Lord? The evil god's heart was full of fear. But for such a strong man, he doesn't know why he appeared here, which makes no sense at all. The key is to come as soon as it comes. Why should it be so low-key? And even if it is at the level of the World Lord, the power is not so weird. The Lord of the world is very strong, but not so weirdly strong, and no matter what, it will not make him unable to mobilize even a little devilish chi. It's so wicked. Feeling that the power in his body was disappearing faster and faster, the evil god's eyes were full of gloom. Chen Daojun's calmness had made him no longer even have the desire to insult. What's the point? Below, within the Yulin dynasty, Miaojun and the others couldn't help swallowing. They thought the Chen family would be strong, but they didn't expect it to be so strong. So many powerful immortal cultivators. Judging from those breaths alone, it is impossible to be a human immortal, and must be a higher level immortal cultivator. Is this the true strength of the Chen family? The pride in the hearts of several people suddenly disappeared, and now it seems that, let alone serving as maids for Chen Daojun, even serving as maids for the direct descendants of the Chen family, they are regarded as high-ranking. The others were just shocked, but Lu Ling was dumbfounded. Only she knows how terrifying true immortal is, and the explosion of true immortal cultivators just now can basically push the entire Wandao immortal dynasty horizontally. This also requires the Tianlingliu family who are afraid of farts. Even if true immortal is in the upper realm, he is not considered weak. At least it is possible to create a power to sit in the city. Now, those phantoms in the celestial star realm just stared at Chen Daojun's direction, as if they were ready to strike at any time. If it wasn't for the Patriarch's order, they would have rushed directly to tear the evil god apart. A mysterious immortal, although powerful, but they are many. Chen Daojun just watched the breath in the evil god's body gradually disappear, and he added a stagnation card from time to time. He has too many of these things. He got 70 or 80 cards in the lottery before. According to Zhao King's absorption speed, at most 50 stasis cards will be consumed, which is enough to completely suck the evil god to death. Zhao King's disintegration power is similar to his true immortal cultivation base's devouring power, and on a certain level, it is much stronger. At least according to Chen Daojun's estimate, if his devouring power collides with Zhao King's disintegrating power, his devouring law should be reduced to energy and be directly absorbed by Zhao King. No wonder these people are so afraid of Zhao King. It's normal to think so. However, Zhao King is a product of the system. She is absolutely loyal and obedient to herself. Chen Daojun is not worried that she will hurt him. With the passage of time, the breath in the evil god's body disappeared completely, and his whole body was swallowed up, including his clothes. An extremely powerful breath also burst out from Zhao King's body. True immortal. Breakthrough. I saw that the huge vine began to shrink, and then became only a few meters wide, which was much smaller than before. At this moment, a green figure turned out from the vines. She was surrounded by green light, like an elf glanced at her. Her eyes were white and bright, and she was wearing a long light green dress. Her petite figure could only reach Chen Daojun's belly at most. Transformation. Chen Daojun's eyes were fixed. Not quite. He didn't feel a strong consciousness from this figure, so the person in front of him should be just the embodiment of Zhao Qing's energy. I saw Zhao Qing rushing towards Chen Daojun. Her white and slender hands hooked Chen Daojun's neck, and that little face rubbed against his face, full of enjoyment. After going on like this for quite a while, Zhao Qing's figure gradually retreated into the vines, then retreated into the wasteland, and returned to Qingxinyuan. Chen Daojun looked at the void that seemed to be healing. It was forcibly torn apart by the evil god. If he had just passed through, the power of heavenly Tao at that time was very weak, and he might not even be able to repair it. It is even possible that under the manipulation of the evil god, the whole world will collapse directly. However, over the years, Chen Daojun has placed a lot of spiritual pool springs in the wasteland, which has led to the recovery of heavenly Tao's power. It is not very difficult for the celestial star realm to repair this broken point. Chen Daojun shook his head. He felt very strange. Why every time I come out to play, I always encounter some disappointing things. It was fine before. At least after going out for a while before encountering it. But this time it happened right after I left the house. It's outrageous. Poisonous, right? Is this the protagonist's hate-absorbing physique? 42%. Chapter 135 Luck Value Doubled Card. Chen Daojun couldn't help shaking his head. Who made himself the protagonist? He should bear all these. His figure slowly floated down from the sky, and the powerful aura of the entire celestial star realm disappeared in an instant. But the shock left behind is still deeply rooted in the hearts of the people. Countless people's eyes were full of shock, unable to recover for a long time. Is this the strength of Jushao divine dynasty? I haven't heard of the lower realm of the immortal rank in these years. Could it be that these people have already come to the celestial star realm? We don't even know about it. This wasteland was so low-key before, so it turns out that it has been pretending to be a pig and eating a tiger. It shouldn't be called the wasteland, but the Chen family behind the Jushao divine dynasty. I heard that the Chen family was originally just an ant force in the Golden Core period. What about now? Immortal steps are running all over the place. I just sense that there are at least tens of thousands of cultivators in the immortal rank, which is really terrifying. Discussions continued to ring out from the celestial star realm, and everyone was whispering about the Chen family and Jushao divine dynasty. There are even many people who are directly preparing to enter the wilderness. The barren land was also very strong in the past, but the shock was far from so great, but the current situation made them all realize that only by entering the barren land can they not be abandoned by this era. The future Zhongzhou might be the former barren land, weak and weak, with only a few strong people here and there. Since the barren land was unified by the Jushao divine dynasty, dozens of Mahayana period forces in Zhongzhou went to the barren area, and then several Transcend Tribulation period forces went to the barren area. With the current situation, more forces have the idea of entering the barren land. But now that there are so many forces in the wasteland, and the Jushao divine dynasty has formulated many rules, it is also a bit troublesome to enter the Jushao divine dynasty. Those forces that originally belonged to Xuantian City, after seeing the strength of Jushao divine dynasty, were all overjoyed, thankful that they had made a choice early on. Those native people who were originally in the wilderness were all in a daze. Since the development of the wasteland, they all have an unreal feeling, as if all this is a dream. Why did the wasteland become like this? Zhongzhou. Yulin dynasty. Chen Daojun's figure descended slowly. Miaojun and the three daughters all looked at him with excited expressions, but Lin Wanqing became much calmer. After following the patriarch for a long time, he was often hit, so he got used to it. See you, my lord. Miao Heng immediately walked out of the palace at this moment, and bowed to Chen Daojun in the sky. He really didn't expect that this patriarch Chen would indirectly help the Yulin dynasty solve the predicament. The old Saint Lord in Qiang Holy Land was destroyed, and he got together with the demons, which had already aroused the anger of everyone in the celestial star realm. In the future, he would definitely become an existence that everyone shouted and beat. It is simply impossible to split your mind to deal with the Yulin dynasty. Chen Daojun nodded lightly, but didn't pay much attention to it, but looked towards Miaojun. Come on, let me see what's interesting here. Miaojun immediately nodded respectfully, of course. After finishing speaking, he nodded again to Miao Heng below, and then took Chen Daojun to another direction. Chen Daojun's purpose was to have fun, so he didn't bother to be courteous to those from the royal family of the Yulin dynasty. It was a waste of time. The few people did not cover up all the way, and finally made Chen Daojun a lot cleaner. At least along the way, there was no one who caused trouble for no reason. Everyone who saw him respected him, or hid far away, and didn't dare to go forward. Just like this, several people traveled around the Yulin dynasty. In 3 months, the dynasty was covered. The few of them did not leave the Yulin dynasty immediately, but continued to go to other places in Zhongzhou. Since they all came out to play, they must have had enough. Whether it is the Chen family or Jushao divine dynasty, there is basically nothing that needs to be dealt with by him alone. In 3 months, Chen Daojun's cultivation base also broke through to the true immortal late-stage realm. The higher the realm, the slower the breakthrough speed of cultivation base. Even if there is 100 times return, it is still very slow. The Chen family now has nearly 30,000 people in the immortal rank, and nearly 4,000 of these people are true immortal realms. So many people have provided him with a cultivation base with a 100-fold return at the same time, but the growth rate of the realm is still very slow. But this is also normal. After all, it is true immortal. If it is still the same as golden core nascent soul at that time, and the breakthrough speed is very fast, then it is unreasonable. It is very normal for many people to spend tens of 10,000 years or hundreds of 10,000 years in order to break through in true immortal realm. Time flies, like a white horse passing by. 5 years passed in a blink of an eye. Chen Daojun's concept of ascension is not too big. After all, in the celestial star realm, he can also use the Lingqi spring to strengthen the heavenly Dao Law here. Furthermore, immortal qi can be born from the top-grade Lingqi spring, which has no effect on those immortals. In 5 years, Chen Daojun broke through to the peak realm of mysterious immortal, only 1 step away from golden immortal realm. At the same time, the entire structure of the celestial star realm has undergone earth-shaking changes. Now in the entire celestial star realm, Jushao divine dynasty is respected. Almost all the transcend tribulation forces in Zhongzhou have moved to the wasteland. Just like the Yulin dynasty of Miaojun's family, they also moved into the wasteland. And because of the Lingqi spring, the current heavenly Dao Law in the celestial star realm is extremely strong, and the strengthening of the heavenly Dao Law will inevitably cause changes in the entire celestial star realm. Today's celestial star realm has almost doubled in size as a whole. Among them, the size of the wasteland has increased by about 3 times, and the forces that can be accommodated are even larger. And Chen Daojun's system is very perverted. Now he is mysterious immortal return to origin realm. The astral world must have been full of mysterious immortal realm that day. To be honest, Chen Daojun didn't even want to summon so many characters. But the Nehi system is linked to the luck value, and summoning characters will affect the luck value, so if you want to grow quickly, you must summon. The characters that Chen Daojun summoned later on are almost all allowed to play freely, whether it is to go to the upper realm, or to create their own forces in the star realm, these are all possible. In the current wasteland, one of the 10 forces was created by Chen Daojun's summoned characters. And these forces are a low-key group, but there are immortal bosses behind them. In 5 years, many of the original transcend tribulation periods of the celestial star realm have already broken through the half-step immortal realm. The lucky draw is successful. Congratulations on getting 7,300 spiritual pool springs. It can be exchanged for 730,000 high-level spiritual pool springs. Successful draw. Congratulations on getting 1 immemorial golden immortal summoned character. Successful draw. Congratulations on getting the luck value double card. 1. 42%. Chapter 136. Clansman. Chen Daojun stood up abruptly, and the girls around him immediately looked at him with doubts in their eyes. Chen Daojun waved his hands, and then continued to sink his heart into the system. Summoned characters and spirit pool springs are old things, and they are often drawn, so Chen Daojun didn't pay much attention to them. But this luck value double card is a bit heaven-defying, and it's the first time he has drawn such a thing. Chen Daojun took a look at the personal information of the own system. Influence. Chen family. Current staff. 81,982 people. Luck value. 7.363 billion. Omitted later. Lottery level. 418. Chen family lineage. 73 people. In the past 5 years, the Chen family has given birth to many direct descendants. Although he never went back to read it, but the system marked it here, which means that those members of the Chen family still haven't forgotten his order. With a luck value of 7.3 billion, wouldn't it be more than 10 billion if doubled? At that time, wouldn't it be possible for me to draw a strong man at the level of the World Lord? But this is hard to say. It is possible that immemorial golden immortal will stop. Chen Daojun used it without hesitation. Double luck value card successfully used. The current luck value is 1,472,681,299,311. The luck value doubled directly, which saved Chen Daojun about 3 to 5 years. What exactly can be drawn can be tested tomorrow. Good. Chen Daojun was thinking. Lu Ling came from behind, put his arms around his neck gently, and asked softly, "Husband, what's the matter?" Over the years, she has also fully adapted to her own status, so her husband's name is extremely smooth. Chen Daojun shook his head. "It's okay. Let's go. I've been out for so long, it's time to go back to Chen's house." The Chen family gave birth to many descendants, which also made him very curious. It's a pity that I still didn't get Lu Ling pregnant, not even Lin Wanqing and the others. What a pity. I am also a mysterious immortal realm now, and it is estimated that it will take more time to give birth to offspring. Lu Ling nodded obediently. Yeah. Several people set off immediately and returned to Xuantian City. Suddenly, a dazzling green light burst out from Lu Ling's body. This is. Lu Ling was taken aback for a moment, doubts flashed in his eyes, but soon his face changed drastically. Return to the spirit. This return to the spirit is the secret technique of their Tianlingliu clan, which can be used to send messages to people of the same clan, but there is a condition for this, that is, the range cannot be too far away. In other words, people in the upper realm cannot send messages to the lower realm. Have they come to the celestial realm? Lu Ling's eyes were full of panic, which was really caught off guard. But after taking a look at Chen Daojun beside her, she immediately breathed a sigh of relief. The Chen family has so many strong people, and the husband is likely to be at the mysterious immortal level, so it is impossible for the Tianlingliu clan to do anything to him. Linger, come quickly. A voice sounded out of nowhere in Lu Ling's mind, and then a strange picture appeared in front of her eyes. It was Gui Ling guiding her where to go. Lu Ling immediately looked at Chen Daojun. Husband, my fellow clansmen have come to look for me. Same race. Chen Daojun's eyes were calm. So that's the case, then go and have a look. Lu Ling nodded heavily. Her plump and rosy lips were slightly pursed. As long as Chen Daojun was by her side, she seemed to have an infinite sense of security. Do not worry about anything. Several people disappeared in place in an instant. On a high mountain in the northern region, there is an extremely flat platform, as if it was cut by some sharp blade. Standing above are 4 men and a woman. One of the youths with a young appearance and an extraordinary temperament was full of surprise in his eyes. I remember this place seems to be called the Celestial Star Realm. I didn't expect the heavenly Dao Law to be so strong. The other 4 were also looking at the world in surprise, apparently shocked by the situation in the Celestial Star Realm. A smile appeared on the young man's face. I said that Girlinger has never returned home. It turned out that the reason for this is that the Star World is not bad. This is also a world without an owner. When I go back, I can report to my ancestors and discuss with Wan Dao Immortal Dynasty. Bring this world under the command of my Tianlingliu clan. A middle-aged man beside him nodded and said, "This place is really good, young Master Liuhe. This Girlinger is a bit awkward. Please be considerate of young Master when the time comes." The few people in front of him are the young Master and guardian of Tianlingliu clan, and the other 3 are Lu Ling's parents and elder brother. The middle-aged man who spoke just now was Lu Ling's father, Lu Ping. A polite smile appeared on Lu He's face. Don't worry, Uncle Ping, Linger is also my unmarried wife. I also know her temperament, and I won't take any offenses to my heart. The young man behind Lu Ping shook his head secretly in his heart. He knew that Lu Ling left the Tianlingliu clan land, which was the reason for Lu He. She didn't want to marry Lu He at all, so she ran away from home. But the only thing that reassures him a little is that the young Master Liuhe has a good temperament and is well received in the clan. Even if Lu Ling is unwilling, marrying the other party is not a bad result. At this moment, a gigantic void opened in front of it, and a carriage slowly stepped out of it. The first thing that appeared were 3 dragon-headed horses. These 3 horses are covered with white scales like jade, looking mighty and extraordinary. Lu He and the others were startled suddenly, and fear flashed in their eyes. Dragon Clan. Dragon Horse. The guardian next to Lu He immediately stopped him behind him. There are only 2 types of characters who can ride the dragon horse, either the power of the monster race, or the power of the human race. A pure-blooded dragon horse is not something ordinary people can subdue. Among the entire monster clan, dragon horse's status is similar to that of the dragon clan. The only difference between dragon horse and dragon race is their appearance, but the bloodline inside them is exactly the same. Feeling the pressure of bloodline coming from dragon horse, Luhi and the others felt a little dignified in their hearts. Such a character came to the door on his own initiative. I'm afraid there will be no good things. Could it be from the Yaozu? They Tianlingliu are better than the human race, so naturally they will inevitably confront the monster race, and they have also aroused the hatred of many people from the monster race over the years. Many Yaozu wanted to kill the traitor Tianlingliu. 3 dragon horses, this lineup is really luxurious. The immemorial golden immortal starts here, and even the master level can ride it. The key is how could such a character appear in the lower realm? This is outrageous. Before they knew it, Liu He and Liu Ping had cold sweat on their foreheads, and their eyes were full of vigilance. As long as there was a slight movement, they would definitely run away immediately. Soon, the whole picture of the carriage was exposed, and there were 4 women standing around the carriage, each of them had a temperament like a fairy descending. Suddenly, when the figure in the carriage stepped out, Liu Ping and everyone were shocked. 42%. Chapter 137 Heaven Defying Strong. Ling puzzled and dazed flashed across Liu Ping's eyes. He didn't understand why Lu Ling could ride dragon horse. When she left the clan land, she was only the cultivation base of the Earth Immortals' early stage, and it was simply impossible to subdue the dragon horse. No, there must be others. Suddenly, another person came out from behind Lu Ling. He had a calm expression and an extraordinary temperament, and he knew at a glance that he was definitely not a human being. Moreover, Liu Ping and the others could clearly feel an extremely oppressive aura from each other's body. Strong. The real strong. The hearts of the 5 people were shocked. Ling actually followed such a strong man. The 2 walked out of a carriage, and their manners were very intimate, which obviously had an unusual relationship. And this strong man is not a monster race, but the peak powerhouse of the human race. In just an instant, Liu Ping and the others knew that the person in front of him was definitely a cultivator above the true immortal realm. Only such a cultivator can make them feel so oppressed. Father, mother, brother. Lu Ling had a joyful smile on her face, and she immediately ran up to say hello. Liu Ping forced a smile on his face. No matter what, judging from Lu Ling's attitude, the other party should not have any malicious intentions. Lu Shui on the side stepped forward with a worried face, and took Lu Ling's hand. Ling what have you been doing all these years? Why didn't you go home? Don't you know that mother is very worried about you? Her eyes were full of concern. Lu Ling immediately lowered her head, a little embarrassed. I'm sorry, mother, I made you worry. Lu Shui stroked her head gently. It's fine. Feeling her mother's love, Lu Ling couldn't help but took 2 steps forward and hugged Lu Shui. Mom, I miss you so much. In the entire Tianlingliu clan, the relationship between their mother and daughter is the best and closest. He glanced at Lu Ling, then turned his head to look at Chen Daojun. His eyes were full of solemnity. He cupped his hands and saluted. At Liu He of the Lingliu clan in Shadian, meet the senior. Chen Daojun just nodded lightly and didn't make any other moves. After Lu Shui and Lu Ling finished talking about the old days, Liu Ping asked solemnly. Ling who is this? A shy smile appeared on Lu Ling's face. Father, this is my husband. She is not going to hide anything, and she believes that Chen Daojun can solve any difficulties. Husband. Several people were startled in their hearts, and they never thought that the 2 of them had such identities. Couple. Lu He's complexion changed even more. Lu Ling was his wife appointed by the clan. The 2 of them had made a marriage contract long ago, and both parents had also negotiated, but this incident happened in front of them. Among the Tianlingliu clan, Lu Ling, the younger generation, has similar aptitude as him, and reached the Earth Immortals realm at a young age. Compared with other clansmen, they are all inferior. The Tianlingliu family has always been of the same clan, but this same clan does not mean that they are relatives. The entire Tianlingliu family is divided into 7 major tribes, and each tribe is a different bloodline. And the 7 tribes have always been married to each other to ensure the purity of bloodline, and Lu He's line is the line of the patriarch Tianling Lu He couldn't help sighing in his heart. He said with cupped hands, since Ling has chosen to marry this senior, then my marriage with her should be regarded as terminated. Chen Daojun is so powerful that even the entire Tianlingliu clan can't afford to provoke him. The rule of same clan marriage is not completely unchanged. In this case, if Lu Ling must be blamed, if the senior is offended, the entire Tianlingliu clan will even be annihilated. A strong man who can control a three-headed dragon horse is not something the Tianling Liu family can provoke. This kind of powerhouse, at least started from mysterious immortal, golden immortal or even world lord level powerhouse, is not necessarily impossible. This young master, Lu Ping, was a little embarrassed at once. After all, the marriage contract between the two had already been settled. He waved his hand immediately. It's nothing. After finishing speaking, he saluted Chen Daojun in the distance, then turned and left directly. Things have come to this point, it is meaningless for him to stay here. With Lu Ping and the others relying on such a strong person, it is impossible for him to exert pressure. It would be tantamount to seeking his own death. But He didn't really care. He and Lu Ling didn't have any feelings for each other, and the two had a marriage contract because their bloodlines were relatively high, and the bloodlines of the children born together would definitely be stronger. That's all. Lu Ping was a little embarrassed, and the scene before him made him a little confused. For no reason, Lu Ling was with a man, and they were husband and wife. Although he didn't reject the two being together, after all, the strength of the other party was so strong, it was good for them, and judging from Lu Ling's demeanor, she also liked each other very much. Being able to rely on a strong man, Linger can also find her own receptor. This is indeed an ending with the best of both worlds. But Lu Ping was still a little embarrassed, not knowing how to face his clansmen in the future. After all, they had already negotiated before, and now there is a sudden change, which is really unexpected. A few people walked towards Chen Daojun, and Lu Shui said with a smile on her face, "Senior, Linger is not sensible, so please bear with me in many places." A smile appeared on the corner of Chen Daojun's mouth, and he slightly cupped his hands. Rest assured, after all, they are Lu Ling's parents, so it's not good to keep making faces. Both of them are just angels. Under normal circumstances, Chen Daojun would not look at them directly, but he still raised his hands to show respect. When we meet for the first time, let's regard this as a gift to honor the two elders. Chen Daojun took out 3 interspatial rings and sent them towards the two, and another one floated to the young man behind them. Lu Yun was slightly taken aback. I have it too. After all, Lu Ling was his first official wife, and it was normal to see her parents give some gifts. Lu Shui was taken aback for a moment. This Chen Daojun can be so polite to them, they are already flattered, and this is also a gift. Seeing Lu Ping, they didn't dare to go up to pick it up. Lu Ling quickly said, "Father and mother, you can take it." She was still very happy in her heart. Chen Daojun brought gifts to the two, which showed that she still attached great importance to own. When the 3 of them heard this, they stretched out their hands to catch it. After seeing the situation inside clearly, the 3 of them froze in place immediately, their eyes full of shock. There are not too many spirit stones, roughly estimated at least billions. Billions. Even if their lineage is emptied, it is impossible to have so many. And there are not only spirit stones, but also various other heavenly and mortal treasures, all of which start from the immortal rank. This treasure in the interspatial ring is worth 1/3 of the total resources of the entire Tianling Lu clan. This is the meeting ceremony for the strong. There are so many treasures in just one shot. Lu Ping's face was full of disbelief. What kind of heaven-defying power did Linger find? Can control the 3-headed dragon horse, and give away so many resources at will. It was appalling. 43%. Chapter 138 Xiao Xuaner, do you like it? Goodbye, parents, and brother. After a brief reminiscence, Lu Ling and the 3 of them waved goodbye and left the northern territory. Wasteland. A huge carriage suddenly appeared above Xuantian City. Everyone was startled and looked towards the sky solemnly. This is Patriarch Chen. To be able to come to Xuantian City like this, no one else would dare to do so except the one from the Chen family. Xuantian City is at the level of the 9 Heavens divine dynasty. If other people are like this, it is no different from provocation, and no one would dare. Inside the Chen family, the pink and jade-carved children looked at the sky suspiciously. This was the first time they saw someone dare to do this in Xuantian City. A little boy whose eyes seemed to contain star, said crisply, "Couldn't this be the head of our Chen family? He is the arrogance born before the Chen family, and the star body of the holy rank." Beside him, there is also a young boy with an immature face. There are 2 eyes in his eyes, and each eye contains the truth of the great way. Sacred body, double pupils. This is unique in the entire celestial star realm, and only exists in the recorded heaven-defying physique. There are little boys standing beside the 2 boys. They all have unusual auras on their bodies. Everyone here has a special physique. All the direct descendants of the Chen family were given special physiques by Chen Daojun before. They all started from the heavenly spiritual roots, and a few of them were sacred body. It is normal to have such excellent offspring. At this moment, each of them looked at the sky in a daze. After a while, the shadow of the carriage disappeared, and when it reappeared, it had already reached the sky above the Chen family. Chen Yun's and others immediately walked out, bowed to the sky and said, "Meet the patriarch, really the owner." The eyes of a group of children were filled with awe. Since their birth, they had been surrounded by the legend of the patriarch. So I am very curious about the patriarch. What kind of person is he? Chen Daojun walked out of the carriage slowly, with a smile on his face. Home again. More and more people surrounded below, including many people outside the Chen family, were rushing back to the Chen family. Meet the patriarch. A group of childish children followed suit, kneeling down respectfully and saluting Chen Daojun. What the Chen family valued most was loyalty, and these juniors were deeply influenced by their elders, and they were also fascinated by this. Chen Daojun's figure floated down slowly. He glanced at the Chen family's newborn, his eyes flashed with satisfaction. Everyone here has outstanding physique, and the bloodline of the Chen family has also become stronger. It seems that I did not make a mistake in choosing the Chen family to give birth to children quickly. If all their realms were promoted, it would be impossible for the Chen family to have so many children in just a few years. Inside the Chen family, Chen Daojun walked forward slowly, looked at the headed child with starry eyes, and said with a smile, "Son, what's your name?" Zhetong's face was solemn. "I greet the patriarch, my name is Chen Po, and my father is Chen Shang." Chen Shang. Chen Daojun's eyes were extremely satisfied, and Chen Po's temperament was really similar to Chen Zhang's. He pinched Chen Po's face again, and said softly, "Cultivate well, the future Chen family belongs to you." Chen Po's face was full of excitement. Although he had never met Chen Daojun before, after being praised, he couldn't help but feel flustered. He said firmly. Chen Po obeyed. Then Chen Daojun went to get to know each of them. It has to be said that these descendants of the Chen family are very good-natured. Unknowingly, the surroundings are already full of people. These are the direct descendants of the Chen family and their wives. But no one stepped forward to disturb Chen Daojun. Those who joined the Chen family all looked at Chen Daojun with surprise in their eyes. It was the first time they saw Chen Daojun so friendly. After chatting for a while, Chen Daojun also had a general understanding of this group of descendants. Chen Po, Chen Wang, Chen Xuaner. These three people are the most powerful and talented people among the descendants of the Chen family. The three of them are the body of star, the body of double pupils, and the body of 9 yins. The youngest of the three is Chen Xuaner, who is only close to 2 years old, but she can already walk independently. She is also the cutest of the three. The whole person is like a porcelain doll carved from jade. The oldest of the three of them is Chen Po, who is in his early 3 years old now. Although these three people are young, they are already cultivators in the qi refining period. Thinking of those people in the Chen family, at this age, they are still brats who don't understand anything. As a result, it is already a cultivator at such a small age. Sure enough, bloodline decides everything. Chen Xuaner ran up, her eyes full of curiosity. "Patriarch, are you very strong? I heard from my parents that the patriarch is the strongest person in the world." Chen Xuaner is Chen Yuan's daughter. Chen Yuan in the distance immediately frowned. "Xuaner, don't be rude." "No problem." Chen Daojun immediately waved his hands, and then hugged Chen Xuaner. "Xuaner wants to know how strong the patriarch is." Chen Xuaner immediately filled her eyes, nodding like a chicken pecking at rice. In her mind, parents are already very powerful figures, but the head of the family is stronger than them, so she is very curious. With a smile on his face, Chen Daojun said, "If that's the case, then show Xiao Xuaner a hand." After all, he waved his hand upwards. In an instant, the whole world seemed to have fallen into a stillness, and the roar began to sound. A huge opening emerged from above, and this opening seemed to swallow the entire celestial star realm. Countless stalwart figures slowly walked out of it, and the aura on each body was extremely powerful, like gods and demons standing between heaven and earth. Roar. A huge roar sounded, and a 5-clawed golden dragon emerged from the sky. His body was extremely huge, shrouding the heavens to block out the sun. Then there is the phoenix, Qilin, a group of divine beasts walking through the sky. The sky above the entire celestial star realm was filled with gods and demons. Countless people turned their heads and looked at the scene in front of them in horror. What the hell is going on here? Inside the Chen family. Chen Shuaner's eyes were dull, and she looked at this scene in disbelief. Is this the owner of the house? Waving his thousands of gods and demons. The aura she felt in Chen Daojun's body was as vast as the sea, and compared with her parents, it was simply a world of difference. The gap is simply too great. The head of the Chen family is so strong. Suddenly, the imagery between heaven and earth gathered towards the Chen family, and finally a jade pendant was condensed in Chen Daojun's hands. This jade pendant is light blue in color, with dragon and phoenix Qilin tattooed on it, which contains extremely powerful law power. Xiao Shuaner, do you like it? Chen Daojun said with a smile on his face. 43%. Chapter 139 The Queen's Reincarnation. Seeing this scene, Chen Shuaner was too shocked to speak. Not only her, but the group of children around them all froze in place. Everything that happened before them far exceeded their understanding of the patriarch. Is this the head of the Chen family? It is too strong. A group of little boys and girls all showed admiration to Chen Daojun. Not only them, but also all the elders of the Chen family, including Chen Shang and Chen Yun, showed deep shock in their eyes. He was obviously taken aback by what happened just now. This was the first time they saw the patriarch make a move. Since the death of the old patriarch, Chen Daojun became the patriarch. They seem to have never seen Chen Daojun show his strength. They only know that Chen Daojun's cultivation base progresses extremely fast. During the nascent soul stage and golden core stage, it basically breaks through in a few days. It has been 8 or 9 years now, and they don't know how far realm has reached. Chen Shuaner said crisply, I like it. She looked at the jade pendant in Chen Daojun's hand with blazing eyes, and beautiful colors bloomed in her big eyes. Chen Daojun smiled slightly, and handed over the jade pendant, then gave it to Xiao Shuaner. He didn't ignore the other children next to him, and then gave each of them a gift in turn. Thank you, patriarch. Everyone who got the gift responded respectfully, and then played with the treasure they got excitedly. In their minds, a figure of a person was deeply engraved. Patriarch. This is the peak powerhouse they have pursued all their lives. Behind Chen Daojun, Lu Ling's eyes were full of complex expressions. It turns out that he likes children so much. In fact, Chen Daojun has long revealed that she wants to have a child, but unfortunately her belly has not responded yet. It's been several years. For most of the past few years, the two of them have been in the same room, only occasionally with Miaojun and Lin Wanqing. Almost counting, I am trying to find a way to have a child every day. Unfortunately, none of them conceived, and Lu Ling felt a little guilty about it. But Lu Ling is also quite helpless. Not wanting to have children is not a problem of own. Both realms are not bad. Chen Daojun at least started in Mysterious Immortal, and he is also in Earth Immortal's realm now. It is extremely difficult for the two to have children. She is also determined and powerless. After talking about the past with the Chen family, returned to Qingxinyuan. Lu Ling then entered the room in silence, and Chen Daojun also noticed this, so he followed in. Ling what's wrong? I saw Lu Ling sitting by the bed blankly, not knowing what she was thinking. Lu Ling didn't speak, but kept her mouth flat. Chen Daojun chuckled, and carried Lu Ling to the bed, while he sat at Lu Ling's feet, holding her feet in his lap. Chen Daojun reached out and took off Lu Ling's shoes, revealing the ice silk socks inside. When visiting Zhongzhou before, Chen Daojun found a kind of heavenly and mortal treasures by accident. Chen Daojun felt very comfortable, so he made them into socks and gave them to Lu Ling. Chen Daojun took off Lu Ling's ice silk socks, revealing a pair of small and delicate jade feet. This pair of jade feet is extremely exquisite, extremely symmetrical, without any dead skin. Each toe is like white jade, white and smooth. Chen Daojun stretched out his hand to hold it, and it was delicate and soft. Then he rubbed gently. When traveling in Zhongzhou, Lu Ling sometimes acted like a baby to him, saying that she didn't want to leave, so Chen Daojun massaged her feet to relax. Lu Ling was somewhat resistant at first, but gradually became not disgusted by the last sentence, and then enjoyed it. Lu Ling closed her eyes, feeling the numbness coming from her feet. She couldn't help but feel a little flustered, and her delicate body trembled slightly. After a while, Lu Ling opened his mouth and said, Husband, why don't you find a woman with an average cultivation base, so that it will be easier to conceive? Chen Daojun's cultivation base is very high, and it is extremely difficult to give birth to offspring, and his cultivation base is not low. In this way, the probability of giving birth to offspring will be lower and it will take more time. But if a woman's cultivation base is much lower, such as a cultivation base around the golden core period, or is completely mortal, then the probability of giving birth to an offspring will be greatly increased. However, Chen Daojun is a mysterious immortal realm, and it is estimated that a mortal body cannot give birth to a fairy fetus. But these are minor problems. You can upgrade the cultivation base after you are pregnant. This is very easy for a mysterious immortal. Chen Daojun couldn't help but shook his head. No need, this kind of thing can't be forced. Although he wanted a child to inherit the family business, there was no need to marry another woman just for this kind of thing. Chen Daojun had high demands on his wife, at least she had to be at Lu Ling's level. And cultivation base alone is not enough, and bloodline can't be too bad. The most important thing is that even if it is a mortal body, it may not be able to give birth to offspring. Lu Ling didn't say anything either. He got up and put his arms around Chen Daojun's neck. The two just hugged each other. Soon, they were down to business. After the official business was over, Chen Daojun walked out of the room slowly, and he sat on the stone bench thinking about life. Suddenly, Chen Daojun realized that he hadn't used today's lottery, so he opened the system panel. The lucky draw is successful. Congratulations on getting 15,300 top-quality spiritual pool springs. Successful draw. Congratulations to the 13th immemorial golden immortal early stage. The lucky draw is successful. Congratulations on getting the wishing card. Chen Daojun frowned suddenly. Wish card. This is something new again. He glanced at the detailed description of the item, and there was only the word, "can make a wish," at the bottom, and there was no other introduction. Is it possible to make a wish come true? Chen Daojun immediately said in his heart, use. But after waiting for a long time, there was still no response. He looked at the system backpack again, and the wishing card was still in the backpack and hadn't disappeared, which meant that he hadn't used it successfully before. What happened? Chen Daojun was stunned. Could it be that this thing still can't be used? How can I make a wish if I can't use it? Ding! It has been detected that the host has a strong desire. The wishing card was used successfully. It has automatically searched for a candidate for the host to give birth to an offspring. If it cannot be found, the system will forcibly change the settings and change Lu Ling to conceive once. Ah, Chen Daojun was stunned. The wish card of emotion is automatically used. The key is that this system is really invincible. It can actually modify the settings directly to make Lu Ling pregnant in one go. It is indeed a cheat. Ding, a suitable candidate has been detected. In the Kanglin realm, there is a reincarnated female emperor, whose body conceives the heavenly Tao embryo, and her dual cultivation can directly conceive offspring. Constructing portal. Construction successful. Please host the Kanglin realm. The system will give you a chance to return for free, and you can return to the celestial star realm at any time. A deep void gate appeared in front of Chen Daojun. Chen Daojun frowned. Empress. What realm? System. Immortal Emperor realm. Immortal Emperor. Chen Daojun was in a daze at the time. Are you sure this is okay? The other party is the Immortal Emperor. If after recovering, I find out that I have done something to her, can I blame myself? 2. 43%. Chapter 140 by Ruer, the Ruthless Great Emperor. Chen Daojun asked solemnly, are you sure you can? The system immediately said, not sure. Chen Daojun. He was a little speechless in his heart. Not sure what you said to me. Did you ask me to die? System. The other party has not fully recovered, and the memory is recovering in stages. She is only 19 years old now, and she will gradually recover cultivation base after she is at least 25 years old. It is recommended that the host leave after completing the business as soon as possible. The system will automatically block the Immortal Emperor's karma calculation for you. She will definitely not be able to find you. The Tao embryo in her body is extremely important, and it is impossible to destroy the child. When the child is born, the host must have grown to an existence that she cannot afford to provoke. In addition, the raw rice has long been cooked, so there will definitely not be too many embarrassing for you. Chen Daojun. IFCK. What you said makes sense, huh? He also gave me a clear calculation of the follow-up things. But Chen Daojun didn't intend to do this. He was not such a scumbag. He would run away after playing with others, which is different from a beast. Think for a moment. Chen Daojun still decided to give it a try. But he is not going to use force, but wants to try to see if he can make this Empress reincarnated fall in love with him. If not, forget it. And a child born of an immortal emperor, how strong is that? Chen Daojun's eyes were full of curiosity. While talking, He left a letter on the table, and then summoned the dozen or so immemorial golden immortals he had drawn just now. Then he walked into the gate of the void and went to the Kinglan realm. The reason for leaving the letter is that he felt that this line of work might take some time, and he might not be able to come back in 3 to 5 years, or even take a longer time. After all, it must be quite difficult to win a female emperor. Step into the void door. Chen Daojun's eyes blurred suddenly. He only felt the Dao rhyme flow around him. Soon, his sight returned to normal, and Chen Daojun looked around. Without immortal qi, this is mortal world. Among the heavens and myriad realms, there are upper realms and lower realms, and the lower realms are collectively referred to as the mortal realms. Hearing the name Kinglan realm and the reincarnation of the Empress, Chen Daojun thought he was in the upper realm. Even in the upper realm, it is divided into worlds, similar to the mortal realm, with strong and weak ones. And the power of the heavenly Dao of the Kinglan realm is much weaker than that of the celestial star realm. According to Chen Daojun's estimation, at most it is the peak of the void return period. How did this Empress reincarnate in this poor village? System. Ding, the Empress's name is Bai Ruer, and she is currently living in Zilin City during the Saint King dynasty. After speaking, the system went completely silent. Bai Ruer. Chen Daojun frowned slightly. This name sounds very gentle. If there is any offense, she probably wouldn't kill me, right? Although the other party is a reincarnated body, she is the immortal emperor after all. If you kill her, she might recover immediately. Even sensing Chen Daojun's breath cultivation base, it is possible to resonate with the other party and lead to early recovery. So keep a low profile and suppress your own cultivation base to the limit of this world. Return to the void period. Chen Daojun's divine sense enveloped the entire Kinglan realm, and according to the characteristics, he quickly found the Zilin city towards the Saint King's dynasty. It is said that the system did not give him a navigation, but sent him to Kinglan realm, and then told him a name and address and disappeared. Who is Bai Ruer? Why didn't she make it clear? However, the other party is the reincarnation of the immortal emperor, and it is still very difficult to judge. Chen Daojun soon arrived at Zilin city. In the center of the city, there was a strange stone statue, tens of feet high, but it looked mighty and not annoying. Chen Daojun stood high in the sky, his divine sense probed downwards. Soon, by the side of a small stream, I found a woman exuding a wave of Dao breath in her body. Is that you? Chen Daojun's eyes flashed. Dao. This is a realm that he has not set foot on yet, and only the reincarnation of the Empress could have it. Chen Daojun's figure disappeared instantly, and when he reappeared, he had already arrived at the side of the stream. I saw the woman standing by the stream, washing clothes with slightly rosy eyes. The clear water of the lake was extremely cold, and the woman's hands were red from the cold. Chen Daojun walked towards her slowly, and the woman seemed to sense that there was someone beside her, so she subconsciously moved a little closer to the river. It seemed that he was worried about blocking Chen Daojun from walking, or he was afraid of being bullied. Chen Daojun walked up slowly, and asked with a smile on his face, "How are you?" Bai Ruer just lowered her head, kept shaking her head and said, I don't know anything, don't ask me." Chen Daojun looked at Bai Ruer with his back turned to Owen, with a puzzled expression on his face. What's wrong? His divine sense poked out and checked Bai Ruer, but then his eyes froze. I saw that Bai Ruer's cheeks were covered with black horny horns. These horny horns were strangely shaped, spreading from the face to the neck, looking extremely hideous and disgusting. It's Avenue Backlash. What is the situation? What did this Empress do? System. Ding, warm reminder. Bai Ruer's name is the Ruthless Great Emperor, not the Immortal Emperor in the current timeline, but a character hundreds of thousands of epochs in the future. He reversed time and returned to the present, just to reunite with his original lover. His lover is a servant of the Bai family. Bai Ruer is a direct descendant of the Bai family. Her mother was redeemed by the head of the Bai family from a brothel. Because of her status, Bai Ruer has a low status in the Bai family. Then his lover is also of low status, the two of them keep each other warm and breed love. But in the end, the Bai family did not agree with the two being together. Although Bai Ruer's status is low, she is also a direct descendant of the Bai family. His lover was eventually killed by members of the Bai family. This matter became Bai Ruer's pain, an obsession. The system completely told Chen Daojun about Bai Ruer's life. After listening, Chen Daojun frowned. The Ruthless Great Emperor. This name is really familiar, but one is looking for a brother and the other is looking for a husband. Chen Daojun asked again. Then how far did their relationship develop at that time? System. If the host asked about the body, the two of them have never made any physical progress, and they didn't even hold hands. It's just that the language is ambiguous. Chen Daojun's frown eased, as long as he hadn't done anything, otherwise he wouldn't be interested in continuing. System. Last reminder, the person Bai Ruer is looking for is Zhao Lin. After speaking, the system fell silent again. Zhao Lin. Chen Daojun frowned slightly, he began to feel troubled. To be honest, he didn't think he could destroy the relationship between the two of them. Bai Ruer's ability to come back to the present from hundreds of thousands of epochs showed that her love for Zhao Lin had reached the point where it penetrated the bone. Is it so easy to break it? Is it so easy to break it?